disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Lomito! Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Alright, welcome everybody to another BDA Boxing podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and I am glad that everybody could be on board for this one. Happy to have everybody on board. I'm flying solo for today. For a couple of minutes anyway. Before we get started with the fun, we just had Lomachenko versus Campbell. A little bit of a better competitive fight than we expected. But before we get to that, guys, don't forget to check out the BDA Twitter page. Don't forget to check out the BDA Instagram page as well. You can download the episodes via Spreaker and iTunes. And don't forget, if you want to keep the gravy train a-rolling, you can donate via the Super Chat, or you can go to the BDA, the PayPal page or the Patreon page. So that's about it for that. The business out of the way. Want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room. Overhand Right, The Fat Scout, BOKS, Court Circle, Sina Mosia, Jason Bourne, All Boxing Talk and News, Jason Bourne, Black Lomachenko, Jack Daniels, Stripper the Sons, Dead Game Boxing, Subash Kunwar, Jack Daniels, Speed, shout out to Pete, and many more to come, I am sure. Thank you guys for joining us. I got Precise on board already. Precise, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, good to have you on board, man. Thank you for being on.
Yay. What are we talking about today?
Oh, come on. Are you gonna do the Rascal thing where you ask what are we talking about even though you already know what we're gonna talk about?
Sorry about that.
And by the way, I think we're gonna be taking phone calls, but I think I'm gonna wait till we get more people in, get everybody's opinion on it, and then I'll take the phone calls. Because lately we've been taking phone calls, and it's just it creates a lot of hoopla, you know.
I agree. There's too many trained monkeys that know how to use phones.
Well, I wouldn't call our viewers monkeys, but hold on, by the way, let me just
No, I was talking about the panelists, bro.
Oh, okay. Well, that I agree with. Hold on, let me just call recognize, see if he. There we go. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. No, okay, I can't. I'm not supposed to call people. I'm supposed to send the invites. Now I can't send an invite. What the fuck? Well, I'll try to figure this shit out as we go along. But yeah, we're talking. Listen, anybody that wasn't watching, spoilers. These are the spoilers. We had Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell a couple of minutes ago, just ended. And Lomachenko wins. That's right, wins the fight. He dropped Campbell in the 11th, hurt him in a couple of rounds earlier as well. Almost had him out in the 12th, and he won by scorecards of 119-108, 119-108, and 118-109. So, despite what Andrew Ward was saying on the ESPN Plus telecast, this fight was not as close as it appeared. Precise, how would you gauge Lomachenko's performance?
Very good. Not amazing or excellent necessarily, but very good performance. Very impressive performance. You know, I think what we have to take into account that this dude is small, man. And
Oops, sorry about that, fellas. I just, oh boy. I accidentally called. Hold on a second. All right, sorry about the Precise. Is I'm trying to get people, trying to get a group together to get Stu in, but I can't seem to. I'll do it later. Anyway, yeah, please, sorry. Continue with your analysis. Precise, are you there? Precise. All right. See, this is this whole. Oh, by the way, I think he's still there. Leave call. I tell you something, guys. Discord is kicking my butt, man. Can't seem to get it. I can't seem to create an event, or not an event, but a group chat so we can get everybody on board. All right. Sorry about this, fellas. We'll get this together in a couple of seconds here. A couple of minutes, I should say. People are saying I can't call. Now, we're not opening up the phone lines just yet. I want to get everybody's point of view before we start doing that. All right. Hold on a second here. I'm trying to... All right. Oh, Precise, are you back? Ah, he left again. I don't know what's going on here. What are people saying in the chat room? See if people are making fun of my like. Oh, Precise, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, sorry about that. It was me, it was my fault initially because I'm trying to figure out how to invite more people into this call. So I'm supposed to. If it happens, just wait 2 seconds and I jump right back. But anyway, sorry about that. Keep going with your analysis.
Where did I get cut off? Because I didn't realize it.
In the beginning, right in the beginning, you'd have to
Oh.
start.
Well, like I was saying, I didn't think it was an amazing performance. I didn't think it was a great performance, but I will say that I thought it was a very good one.
Mhm.
You know, and for a while there, Boxer had me fooled thinking that Loma is 5'7", when in reality he looks more like 5'5.5", and I think this might just be his limit. I think he might be able to go up for an odd fight at 140, but 135 is basically his limit physically. I guess I have to take back what I thought about Loma as far as move up through weight divisions. However, you know, it was a good performance. It was a very good performance, impressive performance. I think Campbell came to fight and he put it on Loma and made it a very competitive, fairly close fight. I wouldn't say it was close because of the knockdown,
Mhm.
but halfway through, yeah, it was very close halfway through. And then Loma pulled away, I thought.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like he was pacing himself a little bit there. Very similar to the Pedraza fight, except that Campbell did manage to stun Lomachenko a little bit in there. It's interesting. I was watching that fight, Precise, and I was thinking, is it me or is Lomachenko getting a little bit too relaxed in there?
I think he had issues with Campbell being a southpaw experience. I think because Loma himself is a southpaw, and when he gets in with the average right-handed fighter, that guy, his opponent, has no idea what the hell they're looking at. Not only because it's a southpaw, but on top of that, it's Loma with the angles, right? It's the angles are already different when you're fighting a southpaw, and then on top of that is Loma with his angle. And I think that's why he's so dominant against right-handed guys. Now I know he was dominant against Rigondeaux, but he really wasn't piecing him up like a lot of these other guys. He was very cautious and careful in that fight. So I think Campbell's experience, skill, and size, southpaw stand gave him some issues. I think the punching power kept him honest for the most part.
Yeah, I think so, man. I mean, he did seem to respect Campbell a little bit, and the commentators were mentioning that the fact that the body punches seemed to get Lomachenko's attention. I definitely think he did. However, he kept coming forward most of the fight, so either he's getting hurt and he's still coming forward despite the heat that's coming his way, or he didn't really feel the shots, but he's just pacing himself, knowing that little by little he's wearing down his opponent. I mean, I don't know what I was looking at really.
I thought he was hurt to the head twice in the fight. I mean, I thought he hurt Campbell 3 or 4 times to the head and to the body.
Mhm.
But I definitely thought he got not tremendously hurt, but he was buzzed a couple of times. And I think the body shots also kept him honest, made him adjust, tuck in a little bit more. You know, he's a little dude, and Campbell can crack a little bit, but you know, yeah, this is physically Loma has reached his limit. I think he can win against bigger guys, certain bigger guys based on skill, but I can no longer say I can't say that he's stronger than these guys. I don't think he is. It's really his speed, his accuracy, and technique that really makes his punches more than the other guys. Physically, he doesn't look strong.
Yeah, he seems to have a bit of an impasse when it comes to weight hopping, which is what some people seem to want from him. By the way, hold on. Before we continue, let me just try to get, because here's the thing. I called you, you answered, but now I can't. It's technically it's still not a group for some reason. So if I want to get other people in here, I'm gonna drop off for 2 seconds and I'm gonna jump right back in. All right. All right.
Right
Hold
on.
on a second. Okay, I'm back. Now I'm calling recognize. All right. So yeah, I mean, he did seem to, like you said, he seemed to get a bit of hit a bit of an impasse. That being said, though, do you think his power is still well above average at lightweight, or do you think he's having a little bit trouble now taking these guys out since they're coming in so great shape because they know the type of pressure that he brings? Or am I overrating Lomachenko a little bit?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I think his power is very good at 85, probably above average. I mean, he's knocking down or at least hurting everybody he fights. No, I think the power is very good. I think it's just that the fact that his chin, he has a good chin, don't get me wrong, but you're fighting these bigger guys. He probably doesn't have the kind of chin that they have, so he has to be cautious not to take too many punches from those guys. So I think that's what's keeping him honest and slowing him down his output a little bit. But I think the power, I mean, think about it. He put a lot more hurt Campbell and everybody else he's fought at 135 than the other way around. So yeah, I think you'd have to say that his power is definitely above average at 105 pounds.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think that's well said. And like you mentioned, that Linares dropped him, but it was like a flash knockdown type of thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure the punch hurt and all that, but in this fight he just got worn down. And I really liked. I forget who said it in the ESPN team, but they said that it's technical pressure that he's suffering. In other words, he just keeps coming and coming and coming, and he's not throwing punches, but he's feinting you, cutting the ring off, and it just slows the guys down. It drains them because they're psychologically stressed of what's coming forward. So yeah, man. I mean, and then he's got, like you said, above average power. Really, really a dangerous fighter. Although, again, I will say he looked a little vulnerable in there, or at least more vulnerable than we've seen him, which is, he set the bar high. So whenever he shows a little weakness, it's more apparent. We got Recognize on the line. Recognize, are you there?
Yes, I am. What's going on?
Hey, good to have you on board, man.
Thank you for having me.
That's right.
What are we talking about here?
Oh, come on, don't do that, man. Don't do that thing there. No, we're talking about obviously Lomachenko versus Campbell. And again, Lomachenko, like I just said this, I want to get your thoughts on this. Lomachenko, he's been so dominant and so strong, and he barely loses rounds, and he stops almost everybody. Now that he's gone 12 rounds 2 times in a row, is it going to seem a little bit now like people are going to say, oh, you see Lomachenko slowing down, Lomachenko's overrated? What do you think?
Well, 2 out of 3, because the last opponent he knocked out was Corolla, right? I mean, he almost killed him. But yeah, I mean, look, Campbell is a big dude. First of all, the fight was pretty competitive. I thought a lot of the rounds were very competitive, but I had a clear victory for Lomachenko. I only gave, Campbell 2 rounds, maybe 3.
Oh,
They were competitive though. A lot of those rounds that Lomachenko won were competitive rounds. Corolla Campbell. Campbell, he posed a problem for Lomachenko. He's about 3 or 4 inches in height taller than him. He's definitely the bigger man. He's a southpaw like Lomachenko with power. And so, therefore, Lomachenko what he had to do was, and I agree with the ESPN panel when they said technical pressure. That was very technical. Like, it didn't stop his game plan of coming in because he knew that's the way to beat him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can't stay on the outside. I'm not saying that he can't, but he just makes it more difficult for himself. But it was still masterful boxing. Like, we have this high standard for Lomachenko. And so, me too. I've seen him perform better than that, but that was a great performance. It's just that it's Lomachenko, so therefore.
Recognize. I think you cut off there a little bit.
I'm sorry. Considering the opponent with his size, his natural size, height, and reach over Lomachenko, I thought it was a very, it was a great performance once again from a guy who's just a masterful boxer. I mean, he's just like out punch your opponent just at any means necessary, and he does that. He almost stopped him. I mean, like those championship rounds, he was fighting like he was behind the scorecards. Like he wasn't taking but that's how he always fights, because he did the same thing with Pedraza. When he's clearly winning the fight, he's trying to knock him out. He's just a great fighter.
Yeah, man. I mean, he kept coming. Oh shit! Yeah, you're cutting off a little bit there. Recognize. I thought you were finished.
No, I was just gonna say that he's one of the best fighters I've ever seen. Technically, like one of the greatest.
Well, whoever's in the background there agrees with you, because he honked right on cue. But it's true, man. I mean, people usually try to compare Lomachenko. They think, who can we compare him to? And everybody, some people say that he's got a little bit of Roy Jones in him, a little bit of Pacquiao in him. Some people say Mayweather, which I really don't see. But what distinguishes Lomachenko from Roy Jones and Mayweather is that he's actually coming forward most of the time. Like Recognize said, he's got an offensive-minded plan when he goes in there, and you could see that he was pacing himself. In fact, apparently his father told him, his father/trainer told him in the early rounds, pace yourself. Don't try to go out there knocking this dude out. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and it seemed to have paid off pretty well. Which brings me to the point of the Salido fight, because again, it's the fight that most people try to use to discredit Lomachenko's, his standing as a number one pound for pound guy. But in that fight, he ended up strong, and some people even say that, hey, you know what? It seems like he paced himself, but he overpaced himself, and he waited too long before actually, pushing forward. What do you guys think? Do you think he paces himself because his stamina isn't all that great, or because he knows exactly what he's doing in there?
A technician. He, when Mayweather would give away the first few rounds, or maybe not try as hard to solve his opponent, right? It was masterful. It was blah, 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 this and that. And even though he would lose a lot of the early rounds, people still said he dominated, right?
Right.
And Lomachenko does the same thing. He takes his time. I mean, his father was telling him, take your time. Don't try to knock him out just yet. Pace yourself. And I think, I'm not saying he's trying to lose the opening rounds, but he's not going to push it. He's going to, take his time and try to learn his opponent. And then he steps it up. And I mean, we've seen this pattern over and over and over again. He starts out slow, takes his time, and explodes.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's especially 2 fights in a row now against Campbell and Pedraza. But I gotta tell you, Precise, one of the things I liked about Campbell and Pedraza is that they really stepped their game up against Lomachenko. They were moving their hands, shooting throwaway punches, a lot of feints, really trying to go feint to feint with Lomachenko, which is smart. I mean, I think at this point it's pretty clear. If you're just a standard boxer puncher, straight up, don't move your head, don't move your hands or anything, just waiting for the perfect punch, you're going to get eaten up by Lomachenko. So what did you think about Campbell's plan? Do you think he came in extremely prepared?
Yeah, it was an excellent game plan. But here's the thing. This is the only way you can fight. I know people will disagree. They'll say you got to go Mike Tyson or Brandon Rios. No, fuck that. He'll mow your ass down if you try to do that. This is what you have to do. I think everybody has realized. You have to, because he has so many different advantages. The only advantage these guys have against size, height, reach. And that is how you have to fight him. Otherwise, you're getting fucked. So you gotta maintain your distance, and you gotta turn him, right? Or you have to turn with him, or anticipate him turning and pivot before he does. Basically. But you gotta, because he has, again, so many advantages over you. The few advantages that all of these guys will have against them, they have to use those. And because it's been so much successful with Linares and Pedraza, at least for a little bit. I won't say the blueprint is out there, but if there is anything close to a blueprint to how to beat this guy, that's what you got to do. There's no other way to do it. I mean, even if you look at Campbell, who's supposed to be the bigger, stronger guy, which might want you to might make you want to say go after him and knock him out, right? When he did and he was successful hitting him, Loma came right back and hurt him more. So, easier said than done. This is the most intelligent way to fight this.
Yeah, man, because I was thinking about that during the fight. Because again, everybody says, look, if you want to beat Lomachenko, you gotta go forward. That's usually what most people say because, of course, Salido, the only man to ever beat him in the pros, that's what he did. But like you said, there's the power element of whether if you think you're just gonna be able to mow this guy down, you're gonna get met with some heavy fire. That being said, Lomachenko did show a little vulnerability in there to Campbell's power, which made me wonder, I wonder if, let's say, for example, I don't know, Teofimo Lopez. I mean, I know he's very hittable. But what about, or Tank Davis, for example? If he comes in with some good head movement and tries to dig to the body, just like Campbell did, do you think he could have some success in there, or does he just get mowed down?
No, Lomachenko will be too fast, slick, he's too good for Tank Davis. Tank Davis is small. He doesn't have the height, doesn't have the reach. I mean, he could hit him and maybe do some damage. Anything's possible. But I mean, in a shootout, I'm taking Loma all day.
Yeah, because it's interesting because everybody that starts out against Lomachenko, he's the one standing in front of you. So most people will just stand in front of him. They won't try to walk him down. If somebody did try to rush him early on, I think he'd be moving a little bit more. You know what I mean? Trying to gauge what's going on. And then by the second or third round, then he'd start just counter-punching the crap out of these guys. Do you think that's how exactly it would go if somebody tries to rush him early?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like with the average fighter, it's a lot more difficult to come forward and use angles versus stepping back and use angles, pivoting out. I feel like that's just more natural for us to do for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But, anytime you have a guy that's great and everyone gets excited about him, and then all of a sudden he has to come forward in the fight, he doesn't look as... And maybe Yard isn't the best example of that, but like when he was kind of sitting back... No, that's probably the wrong example, but like Mayweather, for example, you make him come forward, even against McGregor, who had height and reach, and he was a southpaw, right? Mayweather was forced to come forward, and he got hit a lot in that fight. You know what I mean? So I think if you go after Loma, that's going to favor him, and I think it makes more sense. Try to maintain your distance and make him work, right? Make him come to you. And same with Canelo. If you come at Canelo, he looks like $1 million. But when Daniel Jacobs starts moving around the ring, or Erislan Lara, Canelo doesn't look like the same Canelo all of a sudden. Because in my opinion, from what I've seen, it's a lot easier fight going backwards.
See, it's interesting that you brought up the Mayweather name because, again, that was another guy that everybody said, well, if you want to beat him, you got to rush him. And it did prove to be true a little bit when Maidana finally did it, but then there were several factors. Maidana was a big welterweight. He was a hard puncher. He did have a couple of more, elements added to his defense and to his feints. And like I said, he was a hard puncher. And Mayweather was older. For the most part, you saw what happened. Hatton tried it, and he got bodied, and he got knocked out. The only guy that really had success was Castillo, and that's where everything started, where everybody said, well, if you wanna beat Mayweather, you got to rush him. But then as we saw against guys like De La Hoya, or like you mentioned, even Maidana in the second fight with that jab of his, if you made him come to you, all of a sudden he wasn't that comfortable. I mean, he could walk down guys he didn't respect, like Zab Judah, for example, who had no inside game.
How did Pacquiao put him on the ropes, right? How did Pacquiao put Mayweather on the ropes?
Exactly. Good point.
Counter-punched his ass and went after. So.
That's why most people always say that, well, not always, but most people say that one of the guys who could have given Mayweather a lot of trouble was Vernon Forrest. But then again, because of time issues, that fight was never made. But, a tall guy who would make him come forward, that could have given him a lot of trouble. Easier said than done, though, right? Because you do have to have boxing skills to make Lomachenko come to you and be able to catch him with something or catch him enough to win a decision.
Well, obviously, you got to fight to your strengths also, right? So Gervonta Davis, who isn't the kind of guy to like sit back and control distance with his jab, for him to try to do that against Lomachenko without the height and the reach, that would be suicide. Like, for him, I would say, yeah, you got to come forward and you got to try to whip his ass. But that, obviously, you got to play to your strength. You can't be insane, right? do something that your body type or your skill set doesn't allow you to do very effectively, right? So you got to be reasonable with your game plan. But again, because Loma is the smaller guy, all these guys, just about all of these guys at 135, it makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the game plan in theory. In theory, easier said than done, like we were saying here. Recognize, what do you think about that? When people say, "Oh, the best way to beat Lomachenko, or the guy that's going to beat Lomachenko is a guy that's going to come forward, disrespect his punching power, and just go to the body the way Salido tried to do." Well, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's obviously a mistake, depending on the fighter. But still, like you give Lomachenko all the time in the world to set you up with big punches as you're coming in. When he's coming forward, he can still do that, but it becomes a little harder, right? Just naturally it becomes a little harder because you start giving away defense. And so, no, I don't think look, you guys were talking about Tank Davis. Tank Davis is miles away from Lomachenko at this point. He can't beat him either way. He can't come forward because he'll get picked off. He can't stand in the back because I don't really see him stopping Lomachenko from coming in and catching him with big shots. In other words, cutting off the distance, which would be easy for him, and still coming in with shots to the body, those tight little uppercuts that he throws. I still see a guy like Tank getting outworked that way and therefore, losing. So, easier said than done. I don't think. Again, it depends. Is he fighting a really big fighter? Are we talking about a guy that's, significantly bigger than him, doing that, and what kind of skills he's going to do that with? I don't know. Right now, what I'm seeing from Lomachenko, that's some of the best boxing skills I've ever seen. So right now, I just can't see it. Not saying that it can't be done. I'm just not seeing it yet.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And you know what? Let's take, first of all, Richard Comey is 5'8". So he does have some good size and reach, I think, there to be able to. Wait, hold on a second here. Okay, yeah, because I'm trying to get the ratings here. Yeah, he might have the reach to box from the outside against Lomachenko. And he does have the power also to make something interesting happen. Then again, I mean, I do think he's improving as a fighter, but he struggled a little bit against old man Beltran. And Beltran was a hell of a fighter in his prime, but now, yeah, like I said, he's been on the slide for a while now. By the way, when he fought Denis Shafikov, I don't remember that fight. Did he get robbed in that fight, or was that a legit win for Shafikov?
I think Shafikov beat him in that fight.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah, I thought he outworked him.
He took the fight to the inside, and Comey was a little bit lost.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. So that's why you see, like when I think of guys like the game plan, the blueprint of how to beat Lomachenko. Look, maybe the outside one day, we'll look back and somebody beats Lomachenko and maybe he does it from the outside, and we could say, remember that Luke Campbell fight? Remember he was a little hesitant coming in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
But right now I just don't see like. At 135, I don't see none of these guys beating him. I think he beats them up the way he beat up Campbell, Comey, or Teofimo.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that, let's talk about that. I'm gonna put the ratings up here for you guys to see, and I'm gonna put it up on the Discord. I mean, not on the Discord, on the YouTube. This is what we've got. These are the lightweight ratings, all right, according to Ring Magazine. So we have Ryan Garcia, my favorite fighter, number 10. Anthony Crolla, number 9. Well, Lomachenko's already been there, done that. Emmanuel Tago, who I have to say I have not seen. Javier Fortuna, Robert Easter Jr., Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney. I don't know why he's rated so highly. Jose Pedraza, Luke Campbell. Again, two guys that have already been there, done that for Lomachenko. And then you got Richard Comey. Apparently, Teofimo Lopez and Comey are going to be fighting. Just real quick, before we continue with the whole Lomachenko versus either of these guys, who do you think wins that one? Teofimo Lopez versus Richard Comey?
50-50. I got it slightly for right now, I'm leaning slightly towards Comey.
I'm thinking Teofimo by
You cut off precise. You said Teof, and then you cut off.
Oh, well, it was vulgar, so that's probably.
The Lord works in mysterious ways, but He works, and He was able. He apparently he cut you off. It was providential. No, seriously, who would you favor right now?
By
Like,
a cunt here. I said Teofimo by a cunt.
I see. By a
cunt.
Yeah, by
He
a
said
cunt.
by a cunt.
By a cunt. All right. All right. So okay, so I just wanted to establish that so we could get a little bit of an insight on, because I mean, I guess the question I'm trying to get at here is, who would you rather see Lomachenko against?
God.
Nah, come on, seriously. God. First of all, stop being.
I think God beats him.
No. Don't be Teofimo because of the power.
Yeah,
or
I'd rather see Teofimo.
Because of the
because
power.
of the hype, and because Loma wants it, and because of the hype, and because it's going to be more significant insofar as building either fighter. Just bigger name, I guess. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I want to see Lomachenko break his nose.
Oh,
That's
come
what I
on. Yeah,
wanna see.
you said that to Vinny Mac, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that was very disrespectful. I mean,
I know. I meant it to be that way.
By the way, people are asking for links in the chat room. I wanted to say something because here on Discord we have limited space. Okay, so at this point, what I'm trying to do for certain episodes, I'm trying to get some of the regulars, some of the original guys on board here. That's why I'm saving spots for them. Let's just let this go on for a couple of minutes, see what happens, and then I'll bring in some of the more established guys. But because we have very, it's not like Hangouts where we have 10 spots. This one is very limited, so I'm trying to work. We're Butcher and myself, we're still trying to figure out how we're gonna get this done. All right, so no disrespect to anybody out there, but it's just we can't let this turn either into a scream fest.
Yeah, no disrespect. All right, precise and recognized. We're enough. Don't worry about it.
I didn't say that. I did not say that. Stop saying that. Stop putting words in my mouth. All right, because I called Stu. I'm waiting for Stu. He said he was gonna be on. I think he was awake. He should be awake right now, I believe. But I don't know. By the way, we do have.
He was calling me for some reason.
Oh no! He wasn't calling you. That was anyway. I'll explain to you. It was a relay thing that I was trying to get going to create a group. But I don't think he was calling you. By the way, we got Pavel.
It said Stu is calling you, but whatever.
No,
never
but
mind.
yeah. Anyway, it was actually me in creating a group, and that's why you saw the name Stu. I think I could be wrong. All right, we got Pavel who just. All right, Pavel, are you there?
I think I am, yeah.
All right, good. Well, I can hear you. Oh, jeez. that scared the crap out of me. Did you guys see that as well? It was all dark, and all of a sudden you just
Pavel does that. He does that purposely.
Jeez, that's a pretty cool effect. Hopefully, I got that on camera here, or recorded it. Anyway, Pavel, we're talking about Lomachenko versus Campbell, the fight that just took place. We're talking about who would we rather see, Lomachenko in there against Teofimo Lopez or against Richard Comey, and the guys here said Teofimo Lopez because of the hype and because of the youth. What do you think? I mean, at this point, what's next for Lomachenko?
For Loma, listen, just unify that shit, and I don't know, honestly, what's left for him after that? I mean, shit. I mean, if I was Loma, I would just get the belt, have, I don't know, 2-3 more fights depending on his aptitude, what he has left, and just get the hell out of the sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, because again, you bring up something that I want to mention. The commentator said, "Oh, Lomachenko's getting some wear and tear because of the surgeries that he's had and the fact that he looked a little shaky in there today, just a little bit." So now people are saying that he's breaking down. What do you guys think after such a long amateur career and at 31 years old? Is there a little bit of wear and tear against Lomachenko, or is it just the fact that people are getting better prepared for him and thus we're finally starting to see that he is human after all?
A mixture of all of it. You just said, number one, people are preparing for him. So naturally, that's going to give him tougher. That's going to give him a tougher fight. So he might have a little wear and tear. Obviously, he's had 400 plus fights when you consider amateur and you consider professional. I mean, they said his record. It was ridiculous. I think they said 420 wins and 2 losses as an amateur and as a professional fighter. That's a lot of fucking fights, dude. This dude is like a warrior, you know, like warriors fight like that.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Has it been confirmed that it was 400 fights, or is it? Because I forget who or which Eastern European fighter said that. Oh, he had like or I think it was a Cuban. I think it was Ringo, and there was a little bit of a dispute about how they actually don't keep records of that. So sometimes they inflate or overinflate the numbers. Can anybody confirm whether he actually did have 400 amateur fights or around that number? Maybe somebody in the chat room too can chime in on that one. What are people saying in the chat room, by the way? It's been a long time since I haven't gone. Earn with Hearn says 400 fights. Shepherd the Sun says 396 and 1. Box says the same thing. M6G says Lomachenko had 395 fights with 1 loss, and he avenged his. That's really fun. If that's true, if that's true that it's 395 or 396 and only 1 loss, you guys realize how amazing that is? Because when you have a high level,
Bruce Lee, he's fucking Bruce Lee.
Well, I mean, you put him in there against Brad Pitt. He looks human a little bit, but think about it, guys. 300 in the amateurs, it's a 3-round fight. It's very quick. It goes by fights like this. It's a fencing match, essentially. It's like tap, tap here, tap, tap there. It can go either way sometimes. The fact that he only lost once, either it's corruption in there or he was that dominant in the amateurs.
Even if it was corruption, how many can you possibly give somebody over corruption?
That's a good point.
That's 3. So he went in 395 professional amateur fights. He only lost 1, so that means he won 394.
It's insane. That is absolutely
That's insane.
Let me tell
bro.
you something, BDA. Like,
yeah,
you can't confirm anybody's amateur, okay? Because before they get to any level where people really start recording this shit, they're fighting nobody, and it's just your dad in his notebook, basically.
Right.
This is true. Yes. Yes.
Look at Golovkin. I mean, people have been saying, "Oh, this dude has like, what is amateur record? Like, he has 5 losses and how many wins?"
Like 5 losses out of 350 fights, so that's 345 wins. If that's true.
Okay,
it's 8 confirmed losses.
Yeah, that's what I was about to
excuse me,
say.
8. So
More than 5.
342 and 8. Jesus.
Yeah, there's this Polish website that like keeps track. I don't know where they get their info from.
Well, if it's Polish,
they
then
keep
you
track
can't.
Of all this.
Yeah, but if
no,
it's
but
Polish,
like it's the best amateur database of amateur fights you find online. Like, it's better than anything else out there. It's very incomplete. There's a lot of holes there, but if somebody says, Golovkin lost only 5 fights, you go on there and you see 8 losses, and it's against like name fighters. That could be easily confirmed, right? You just call up the manager of that guy or this guy, and you ask, and yeah, and it's all from like major tournaments too. So it's a lot of bullshit with these records. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Loma had like 12 losses. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, when you're first starting out, you're gonna get beat by somebody.
Exactly. Yeah. Especially at what age did he start boxing? Oh, sorry, Pavel. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was about to say that. I mean, realistically, 400 fights. I mean, by definition, you're gonna lose some. Just because. I don't know. Either Loma was that good that he lost just 1 fight, or the judges gave him a nod and a lot of. Look, I'm not questioning his amateur prowess back in the day, but yeah, I don't really believe in that 1 loss.
The only thing that matters is once you get to a certain level, how you perform as amateurs. That's really the only thing, because there's going to be a learning curve. You're going to get your ass beat. I don't care who you are. And if you're just coming from Odessa, Ukraine, or wherever the hell he's from, and nobody knows who you are, you don't have back or whatever, they're not going to protect you. Why? You know what I mean? So everybody got losses when they're kids.
That's like when I remember, look, obviously not at that level, never reached that level. When I was an amateur, I fought in different We called them just leagues. There was the PAL league. There was the Boys Club League. They entered. They actually. We would fight. Like, let's say if I was in the Boys Club League, I can fight at PAL. Like, I never knew what my record was. I had no idea. I had no fucking idea.
That's interesting.
Man,
That's
I went to.
Yeah, go ahead, Precise. Go ahead.
No, I like one time I went to King's Gym in Oakland. And they had an amateur. You had literally like 6-year-old dudes flailing at one another. You know what I mean? These little boys just like going to work. You couldn't even score that shit. What that's supposed to go on your record? It's just like, come on.
Yeah, that's the thing about, like I said, amateur boxing. It's fun and everything, but sparring is actually more fun because you get to go as many rounds as you can go, and you can pace yourself. And 3 2-minute rounds, especially at the level, if you're just starting out, it goes by fast. It's a lot of bursts, it's a lot of missed punches, and it's anything goes really with the judges. You never know what they're gonna pull in there. And by the way, we got Jimmy on the line. Jimmy, are you there?
What's up, buddy? Can you guys hear me tonight?
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's up, Jimmy?
What's going on, gentlemen? Yeah, we used to have fights like that too. We used to go like the boys club. The boys club from like Somerville used to fight the kids in the boys club, but anybody fighting out of Lowell gyms would go under the boys club banner. They were held at the Elks, or they were held at like some of those didn't go on, but when you fought under the Silver Mittens, which is up until 16, and then you go into the Golden Gloves. Yeah, golden gloves.
We have that in New York too. Same thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the actual official amateur title. But a lot of kids. I mean, then there's real amateur fighters like Lomachenko and those guys. They're fighting at a different level. Amateur records. But it was a great fight, man. That kid Campbell, didn't lay down. He came to fight, but big dude. And hey, he's got fucking all the props to him, man. Fucking, he did himself proud. He did him absolutely.
Jimmy.
Lomachenko's just a different animal. You know what I mean? That's just it's exhausting to watch him. You know what I mean? I try to follow along, and I'm like thinking what I would do if I was in there. The whole time I'm thinking what I would do, and I'm fucking literally getting mentally exhausted. That hand movement, the feints, and trying to time him, but he never does something. He never does it the same time in a row. Like, you know what I mean? It's so hard to fucking get a rhythm on him. Never mind time him. It's crazy. That's his fucking, but just. But what's that?
That's what separates him from the rest. I think that's exactly.
And his conditioning has to be just insane to that much constant moving, and his punches were just as crisp in the later rounds. I know, they were saying he's been through a lot of fights, in the amateurs, but he still looked pretty damn fresh to me. Because that kid was a big fucking dude. I would have liked to know what he weighed. Does anybody know what he weighed?
No, I don't know what he weighed. I can look it up, but I just wanted to bring up. You brought up a good point there, Jimmy, because like we were talking about earlier before you jumped in, that some people are saying, oh, jeez, all right, try to keep those mics muted, guys, please. But like we were saying, people are saying, oh, Lomachenko looked a little vulnerable in there. That's because the bar has been raised so high. If you look at it at the end of the night, what happened is he lost 2 rounds or 1 round on 2 of the scorecards. He dropped the other guy, hurt him multiple times. At the end of the day, it was it was a competitive fight round to round, but competitive in so far as Campbell never stopped throwing punches, but he lost virtually every round according to the visual scorecard. So how can we really say that he was vulnerable in there?
And I went on Twitter before I came on here. Like, what a fucking vile, hateful place. Like, it's just and it's laid down on such a racial line. It's just like, it's cool too. I got to give props to a couple of fucking black dudes out there totally shutting it down, saying, you guys, come on, fucking enough. You know what I mean? Big props to them, of course, because they get attacked. But it's just, listen, he fought a kid. Listen, that kid Campbell, anybody else at 135, I'd be happy to put money on Campbell. And anybody 135, he's a tough kid. He's a good boxer, got range. He can crack that left. That left got Lomachenko's respect tonight. But again, he was 5 inches shorter with a huge range. Listen, I'm a shorter dude myself, like Mickey. I've always fought dudes taller than me. I know what it's like, the extra work you have to do. You have to put in an extra step. It's not just step inside. It's double up your jab to get in and make sure you're not getting timed with an uppercut. It's a lot of shit he's got to control. At the same token, always be changing up, so you're not getting times, you're not getting the dude's rhythm down. You could see the frustration with Campbell. He would start some tells, like I think when he would bend his wrist, he would push his gloves together. He could, he was tensing up, like he was getting frustrated with that. It was no action going on. You would just see him get frustrated because you could tell, he could see him like trying to gain his rhythm, and you just can't do it because it's so herky jerky, and he's always changing it up. It's exhausting to fight him, just to fucking mentally. And props to
He
him. That
drains
kid
you.
never. Yeah, absolutely. And again, this dude, he's a fucking small dude. He's a. Put it this way: all he's been talking about all week going into this fight was, I want to go back down to 130 and fight Tank Davis. He's been screaming it from the fucking rooftops. It's so funny, man, because I can't remember how many times in my TL, in my mentions, I got fucking Davis smokes Lomachenko, right? Non-stop. And all of a sudden, fight week, there's Lomachenko almost like he's had enough. First he said, I'll fight him for free. And then, he's been just headline after headline that he wants Tank. And Tank Davis is retweeting fucking, he's the next pay-per-view star and threatened to beat up people on, just regular civilians, somebody tweeted. So, you know what I mean? It's like, that's where his head's at. So, hey, quiet as a fucking skinhead in a synagogue, right? Nothing coming out of that fucking camp right now. So, the only time you ever hear fucking Floyd talk about Lomachenko is when Davis fucks up and he has to put him in line by threatening to let him fight him.
Right.
I mean, he's done it twice.
That's his
Seriously, he's done it twice. Remember that time? I think I'm going to sign that fight. He did it right on Showtime. And next thing you know, Davis is tweeting out complimentary shit about Floyd.
Hey guys,
sad.
before we continue,
They play their cards, man.
Sorry, before we continue, before I forget, because we got a lot going right now. Shout out to Gonzalo, who just donated via the super chat. He said, shout out for Jimmy. Hope all is well for him. It was a decent fight. Good job, Lomachenko. And then M6G, another donation. He says, hit the like button before Vinnie Mac takes your name, all of your names. Yeah, before Vinnie Mac comes and starts taking names. Shout out to M6G and shout out to Gonzalo for the contributions. By the way, guys, let's take a phone call real quick. 818, you're on the air. 818.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I hear myself echoing.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, it happens often with my phone. I go by muscle memory, but I guess you guys could call me whatever you want.
Muscles. We'll call you Muscle.
No, we called him the Mus. Didn't we call you the Mus last time?
Yeah, that's true. You're right. The Must.
The Mus.
I'm down to protest that because it's pretty lame.
All right, let's not start drinking Listerine here. What do you want to talk about the Mus?
Sounds like you guys have an all-star lineup on right now, so I'll try to keep it brief. Basically, both fights went to distance, like I predicted yesterday. Got the Loma fight right, but I picked Huey Fury, although I did say it was going to be a snooze fest, which it was. And I'm watching the Lomachenko fight right now on Daily Motion because I canceled my subscription to ESPN Plus once the Copa America was over. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad both guys won. I mean, the guys who did win, I'm glad they won. I'm having a pretty good 3-week stretch so far. Starting with Miocic winning, Kovalev winning last week, Loma and Povetkin pulling it off this week, and then hopefully we can finish it off with the Khabib win next week, and that'll be pretty bomb.
Hey, good for you, man. You should give Vinnie Mac a couple of pointers so he can finally get a prediction right. Also, I wanted to say that the fight is already up on Daily Motion, you said?
The Lomachenko fight is, yeah. I have it on right now. It's without commentary, but it's in 720, so I don't mind.
Whoa. They work pretty quick. It must have been some Eastern European guy who did that. One of those hackers that has nothing to do.
Daily Motion uploads them pretty quick. Yeah, surprisingly pretty quick. With YouTube, what I do is I'll go to Wikipedia and let's say if it's a Eastern European fighter fighting, I'll translate it to Russian and I'll copy paste because those guys are, I think it's their Max channel or whatever it's called. Those guys upload it pretty quick, but so far the Povetkin fight isn't up. But I don't think I'm missing much because I read comments saying it was like I said, a snooze fest, which I predicted. So.
Oh, come on. Well, listen, real quick, because we got to move on, but I want to ask you, who do you want to see Lomachenko in there against next? Teofimo Lopez, Comey, Tank Davis?
Richard Coleman, I guess. It's not. I mean, I'm guessing the Mikey Garcia train is like gone already. So let's see him with Coleman. Let's see him because that's who he has to fight, right? To unify the entire division.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, why not unification? People love unifications. People love to see a fighter ending up with all the belts around his waist or around their shoulders and all that. All right, the Moss, thank you for calling in, and you're MG6, right, in the chat room?
No, muscle memory.
No, that's G
muscle
Boogie.
memory.
MG6 is G Boogie.
Okay, thanks. All right, so thank you, Moss, for calling in. We're gonna take another phone call, but thank you for calling in. Call in next time, and thank you for listening, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. Take care of everybody and have a good weekend.
You too, my man. Take it easy.
Peace.
All right.
Peace, brother.
All right, let's take another phone call, and then we're going to continue here with the conversation. 773, you're on the air. 773.
What's up? Got a couple quick points to make. Yeah, a lot of people weren't giving Campbell a shot. They're saying, "Oh, who's this guy? Why is Lomachenko fighting him?"
Mm-hmm.
Never heard that anybody talk about that. Olympic gold medalist talk about that. The way they're talking about him. Oh, who's this guy? He don't got a shot. Blah blah. Dude, he's an Olympic gold medalist. We were saying, oh, Lomachenko's cherry picking him and this and that. And I mean, Luke Campbell looks about 3 weight classes bigger, taller, longer, stouter. Usually, the taller guy, they're not as wide, they're not as thick. But Campbell was just as thick, if not thicker. Lean. Look at the size of the back on him. I understand what Lomachenko's saying. That dude is no business fighting at 135. I mean, he's good enough, but
do you think he can
be
still
a
make
126 pounder?
You think he can still make 126?
Oh, no doubt he can make 126.
Oh,
he's got some he's got some fat on him. He's not.
The only problem, though, now, I'm sorry to jump in, but muscle memory, because he's been so heavy at his age, over 30, because he's been fighting with, it would be very hard. It'll end up eating away a lot of muscle to go to 126. He knows, in fact, he's more comfortable at 130, where there's 2 fights I'd like to see him fight, either Tank Davis or Burchelt.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Jimmy's 100% right. It's not good to lose that. Look, I know he could make it, but there is this muscle memory thing. Look, what happened to Roy Jones? That was a real thing, bro. That was a real thing. That's not. Look, the second fight. I'm not talking about the second fight, but the first fight was an obvious indicator that there was something wrong when you gain all that weight, that muscle weight, and you lose it pretty fast.
Yeah, something amiss. Caller 773. Who do you want to see Lomachenko fight next?
Yeah, but
so
I'd
you know
like
what?
to see him unified and go back down.
You wanted to add something about
Whoever
the muscle.
wins, it don't matter.
All right, you wanted to add something about the muscle memory.
What's that?
You wanted to add something about what Recognize just said about the muscle memory and the weight loss.
No, I come from a wrestling background. We cut weight like crazy. We can cut weight, no problem. He'll cut that weight and he'll bounce back. They got a full day to weigh in and rehydrate. He can easily do that. If you look at some of these other 35 pounders, they look like there's about 4 weight classes bigger than them. You can easily make.
I hate wrestlers.
Get the right nutrition down.
Hey, caller, let me ask you something. Caller, let me ask you something. Did you call in one time earlier in the year, talking to us about the elections and the Israelis and all that?
No, this is the first time calling in.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to get that straightened out.
Hey, caller, can I ask a quick question? How old are you, bro? I'm not trying to say up or anything, but are you like college age, whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're your age, you know what I'm saying? God bless you, bro. You can fucking eat, party, drink beer, and just put in the work and lose your weight. But when you're 30, that shit matters. It really does. Your muscle is the one part of your body doesn't start. Why do you think all your best pro bodybuilders are the most densest, veiny muscles at 38 to 42? I don't care if it's Lee Haney, Dorian Yates, always in the late 30s, because that's when your muscles, but on the negative side, it's hard to take it off. The muscle and just fat, everything as you get older. You'll see. So enjoy it now, brother.
You know what? I agree. That's a good point. And my last point before I hang up, you see what Lomachenko's doing? He's actually trying to unify the belts. You see what Canelo's doing? He's trying to move him away, pick off an old war-torn Kovalev. When he's got fresh, talented Prime, Andrade, and Charlo in his weight class. This is why Lomachenko's number one.
Good
Who's
point.
Terrence Crawford fighting? Amir Khan? I mean, this is why Lomachenko's number one. He's fighting the best he can. He's unifying the belt like a real champion. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man, good point. Very good point. That's why I have Lomachenko number one. It's either between him and Usyk right now. Guys,
you'd have to go Loma.
Well,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could. I can hear you, Precise. Go.
I was speaking of Usyk. I was going to ask the caller if he's going to the fights in the neck of the woods.
Caller, you from Chicago?
No, he dropped out.
Well,
his area code is from Chicago, I bet, right?
He'd probably be at that fight. I would if I was. Anyway, yeah, I mean, that was a good point he made. I think all these other guys are talking a whole bunch of shit, but they're. And I know because the ratings are coming out now. There's going to be a whole conversation. Who's better, Crawford or Loma? And people are going to say, "Oh, Loma didn't look that good in his last fight, so it's got to be Crawford." He's knocked out him nuts. I mean, come on, and like you can't even compare these two fights. It's a joke to even try, but that's.
Yeah, man. Let's see Crawford step it up against somebody. I mean, well, listen, Crawford struggled against Benavidez. He played it safe in that fight. He wasn't coming forward the way Lomachenko was against Campbell. And the only difference...
That guy came from the lower weight division too. He followed Crawford up to 47. So it's not like... Yeah, I know he was taller and all, but he wasn't bigger.
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah, no. At this point, anybody tries to compare them to, you can't. If they do it, they have an agenda. There's nobody right now. Kids, what's that? His 16th pro fight. Look at that kid's resume. Look at the talent he fights.
You want to compare Crawford? Like Crawford's next fight to compare to this fight, he would have to go up to 154 and fight J-Rock. That would be a comparable fight. And before anybody says, well, J-Rock has a belt. Well, J-Rock also been knocked out before. So you think Crawford could beat J-Rock?
Exactly.
Not the J-Rock that showed up
No.
His best win was Gamboa. Case closed.
I would say Postal. But yeah, it's either between Gamboa and Postal.
Gamboa almost knocked this guy out.
Yeah, he did, man.
Postal was on a hot streak, but he also lost to fucking Hank Lundy in Ukraine. So
yeah, I remember you said that. I have to rewatch that fight because
watch that fight, man.
Yeah,
that was
and Lundy, Lundy's no pushover.
Postal looked weight drained in that fight, though. The hunk, the hunk.
A little Freudian slip there, recognize? That hot piece of ass, Postal, yeah.
Hammering hunk is somebody else, bro.
I was gonna say too, the fact that the confidence it takes, just the confidence in that kid's ability to fly to fucking London and fight him in the O2. This kid's an Olympic gold medal. He's a handsome kid. He's done modeling, so he's like big into the fucking social media out there in UK. So he's very popular. So to have, I mean, you have to go in. You're not gonna go in there and squeak a fucking win out. He had to go in and put on the gas. And he did, and put himself in danger many times to fucking take that fight. That was as impressive a fucking victory as I think he's had, myself, personally.
And speaking of Crawford, didn't his best win at welterweight just get knocked out down under?
Chat right now.
Sorry, Precise. Wait, hold on, because Recognize is getting in the chat room. What did you say, Precise? I can't hear you, Precise. I think you...
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but you're cutting off real bad, man.
Well, what a bitch. How about...
Okay, I heard bitch. I don't know if he's calling me a bitch, but...
No, I was just saying Jeff Horn, Crawford's best win at 147, just got knocked out.
Really? Whoa, wait, when did this happen?
By Zarafa.
Whoa, what?
With men, hey guys, with men ring girls or ring boys.
Oh, come on.
Swear to God, social justice warriors went berserk in Australia. Like I said, didn't I just say this a few months ago? I said it's creeping. I've been saying it. You see it. I've been seeing a lot of this fucking virtue signaling, and I'm like, they realize this is boxing, the red light district of sports. And sure enough, in Australia, that woke ass island fucking had, they complained. So these poor girls one girl's like, that's how I make my living. got ousted, and they had to replace him with men fucking guys holding cards. Are you kidding me? Just wanted to put that out there.
But hold on a second. You said they were fighting in hell, or what were they fighting?
Australia.
Okay, well that's it's turning into hell right now. And here's what one of the guys had to say. One of the guys who organized the whole thing with the ring boys.
I am a victim of masculinity. And
oh man,
she's cuckolded to me before. She's had me eat her out after she's done fucking another guy.
Oh Jesus, listen. But yeah, listen, I don't want to get too hung up on the. That makes me shiver, man. But okay, so Jeff Horn just got knocked out. I mean, come on, that's. Well, okay. Well, what does that say about Terence Crawford, and what does that say about Manny Pacquiao, though? That this dude just got.
Jeff
I'll
Horn
I'll tell you what it says. No, it was earlier today, wasn't it, Jimmy?
Yes, I believe it was earlier today, wasn't it? Yes, because it's Australian time. I'm all messed up on.
I'll tell you guys what this means.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Horn was always vulnerable. He's been knocked down before. But Pacquiao destroyed that man's career, all right? He ended that dude. The kind of beating that he put on him. And anybody who says that Pacquiao lost that fight really needs to have a talk with God. But, I mean, Pacquiao just absolutely destroyed that man, beat the living dog shit out of him. Well, he destroyed him. It is what it is. And he wasn't that good to begin with anyway. If it wasn't for all that dirty tactics, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, he wouldn't have done shit.
Hey,
but he was just a flash in the pan. What's up?
Versace, you want to know what I was told? This is through rumor. You know what I mean? Total rumor. But I was told that was a fucking fuck you from Bob Arum as Pacquiao was going out the door. Like
that's what it looked like to me.
That's what I was told, man. Somebody said, dude. And I can't say too much because it'd be easy to track where this came from. But and it's not Steve. I just want to say that right off the rip. It's nothing to do with that. But yeah, it's pretty funny that put it this way. That's what Pacquiao's people thought. That's what they were yelling.
Well, it was obvious. Look, he almost knocked him out. That ninth round. I think that ninth round is what put him in the hospital. He was in the
go look at his face after that fight, man.
The winner was in the hospital after that fight for a week.
Pacquiao, he wasn't that good to begin with, and Pacquiao softened his ass up. And if it wasn't for his physical size and the ability to just grab onto Pacquiao like a fucking octopus, he would have been sleeping on that fucking canvas.
You know what, man? That's actually. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if what Jimmy's saying has some validity to it, that's actually a genius move from Bob Arum. Hey, have this dude undefeated beat Manny Pacquiao, at least officially, and then have him lose to Terence Crawford. Now you got Terence Crawford on your stable. That is that's playing 4D chess right there.
Because you are a Jew.
Whoa,
and it makes Terence Crawford look like he's better than Pacquiao without ever having to fight Pacquiao because they never wanted that fight because Pacquiao would have exposed Terence Crawford.
Interesting.
I'm not saying he would have beaten him necessarily, but he would have exposed him. And one last thing I want to say about the WBO and fighters fighting on the road, because we just had that happen a couple of times, right? Kovalev in Russia with Yard fighting on the road, right? People were saying, oh, he can't get a decision in Russia. But what they don't understand is that it's not up to the promoter, it's up to the sanctioning body. And it just so happens that the promoter promoting the fight is aligned with the sanctioning body. It often happens that way. But if you got the sanctioning body on your side, you could be Vladimir Klitschko going into Russia and doing whatever the hell you want. You can be Rob Brand going to or whoever it was. Hassan N'Damimjikam going to Japan and getting a decision against the fucking multi-million-dollar star over there. You know, it's not up to the promoter. It's up to the sanctioning body, WBO in this case. Thus, like Johnny was worried about Lomachenko getting robbed in the UK. Fuck no, man. Bob Arum got the WBO in their pocket. They're never going to do that unless he wants it to happen like he did in Texas against Salido. He in my opinion, wanted to teach Loma a lesson or maybe save that second fight champion for some other up-and-coming amateur. Because like I've been saying for a while. Yeah, am I breaking up again?
No, you're good. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say, you know, they don't want to break all the records too quickly because then you'll have no more records to break. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you did tell us that theory some episodes ago. I forget how long ago it was, but it makes sense. I mean, let's not forget this is a business. It's marketing too. It's about marketing these fighters and making them look sometimes as better than they really are in order to either have a commodity in your stable or to pit them against somebody that you know he's going to lose to make the guy you want to win look better. So it all depends. And by the way, just before we continue, I want to read a comment from Punch for Pound who says, BDA, read this comment. He says, Manny Pacquiao turned pro at 16 years old. Since 16 years old, 135 is Lomachenko's 10th weight class. That explains what we saw, but he goes unreported. And then he says Loma fought at 102 at 16 years old. Whoa, really? 102,
Yeah.
105, 108, 112, 115, 118, 122, all the way up to 135. That's 10 divisions. Loma is making history, and nobody says anything.
Well, I mean, look, it's been. I'm not shitting on fucking Manny Pacquiao. Everybody knows how I feel about him, but it's like he's established already. He is who he is. One of the greatest fighters you'll ever see in boxing. That's it. It's just now Lomachenko, we're following him because he's looking to make a push for greatness. So that's how it goes.
But that's the thing, though. If he wants to be considered great, Lomachenko, that is, he needs to be pitted in there against somebody that's really gonna make. Because I mean, he's been pushed right now. I mean, he's had some competitive fights. I think the Linares fight to me was one of the most fun to watch because he was matched up against a guy who had good hand speed. Right now at 130, 135, I don't see anybody that can even come close to matching. Forget his skills. I'm just talking physical gifts. Hand speed, reflexes, all that jazz. There's nobody really out there. But then again, that probably speaks volumes about Lomachenko's own skills. And by the way, let me just say something real quick, because we're talking about Terence Crawford. I'm not shitting on Terence Crawford. In fact, you guys know me. I disagree with some of you here about, I think Crawford actually gives or beats or can beat Errol Spence. I think he's that good. So I don't want anybody coming in here thinking, oh, just because I have Lomachenko over him pound for pound, that I don't regard him highly.
I think that's not an argument. I don't really think that's an argument. I think, look, Lomachenko is clearly the best fighter at 135. He's clearly the best fighter at 135. Terence Crawford ain't clearly the best fighter at 147. The guy, like, look, maybe he might be. I'm not saying he can't, but there's a lot of guys there at 147 that he hasn't fought who have a good chance of beating him.
Bro, like the Ring Magazine, they must think this welterweight division is the greatest welterweight division in the history of boxing because they got Crawford, Spence, and I think they also have Pacquiao on the pound for pound list or thereabout. So how the fuck you have 3 welterweight? You must be telling me that this is the best welterweight division ever, man. Get out.
Nah, it's not that. It's not at its current state. I've seen the 80s welterweights were better. Like, come on, man.
Let me just say real quick in the super chat. Via the super chat, Chris Cage has made a donation. And he says Lomachenko should copy Canelo and weight train bigger guys. Well, that's one way of doing it. Chris, thank you for the contribution. And that's actually, we'll try to get that game plan to Lomachenko's people. See if that starts working out because he does have a lot of wear and tear right now, like they were saying on ESPN. Maybe it's time he takes. Maybe it's about time he took it a little bit easy there against some of these guys.
Wilder at 136.
Yeah.
Much? Yeah. Well, you never know. Wilder keeps losing all that weight. Maybe he'll make it to 135 one of these days.
I think he has AIDS.
Jeez. Oh, man. Today's not that time for that type of show. Also, I wanted to mention something, guys, that I forgot to tell you. I want to get your opinion on Lomachenko because we're talking about how what's his name? Campbell's height and reach gave him some trouble, and yet I saw Lomachenko landing that jab all night long against the bigger, longer guy. I think that's what actually won him.
Yeah, man. It's that fucking excellent footwork that he does. That fucking like bouncing around, herky jerky, pop, and just fucking shoots that shit. And it's like almost like a power jab too.
Yeah, because he's stepping into it. Doubles the jab out there, pop, 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 and really snaps. He was snapping.
I know Precise likes to do this a lot. He likes to make videos. I thought the way both fighters positioned their feet as the South excellent in this fight. Like it was so on point, both of them, that you can understand why at times, Campbell was successful. But it just goes to show you how good Lomachenko is. Like even he had his they're both southpaws, right? He had his lead right exactly where it needs to be against another southpaw, and he could have not done it any better. It's just that Lomachenko, man, he could just sprint in and out, pop, 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 and offset that.
You ain't seen nothing. If you want to see a smaller guy come inside on the bigger guy while moving his head, using angles, popping his head back, jab, just wait till Canelo gets in Sergey Cavallo. You're gonna see how it's done, bro.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
That's one of the hottest topics on the BDA lately. It's about the Kovalev versus Canelo. There's some disagreement there. I know Bucho thinks.
I love it.
Yeah, I know. Listen, I want to see it, man. I want to see it just because it's intriguing. And Canelo, if what Precise says is true about Canelo, that he's got fucked up knees, I don't even want to know how he screwed his knees up. I got some ideas with him and De La Hoya, but I'm not gonna say them. But I want to see that fight. Why not? It's an
Pavel
fight.
knows. Pavel knows how it happened.
Oh yeah, he's got the agency working overtime. Pavel also knows who killed Jeffrey Epstein. So, but he's not gonna tell us here.
No, don't ever say that Pavel worked with Jeffrey Epstein. Don't ever say that.
No, but really, I have a. It's not really confirmed. It's maybe one of the reasons. Just the anabolics have a certain influence on your connective tissue and, of course, on your muscle. But the thing is, just because muscle grows way faster because there's a much more blood flow than in your tendons and ligaments and all that, there's a lot less possibility of infection happening paradoxically, and the infection usually happens in joints that are moving a lot. So, for example, the knees. Yeah.
Or it's just a little bit of carpet burn, bro.
Hey, you know, Pavel, you're onto something, because the same thing happened with. I know a lot of you guys don't follow other sports. I do, like with baseball. Alex Rodriguez, who's a known steroid guy, just like Canelo. They had the same injury. He had the same injury a couple of years, like 10 years before Canelo, where he had to, he had knee surgery, and that was the ending of him. A little different in body size, because A-Rod is like, Alex Rodriguez is a very tall man who packs on a lot of weight. And so he had a cyst that needed to be removed from his knee, and from there on out, that's when that whole leak came out, that he took steroids and back in the days, and that he also failed the test, and baseball kept it under the rug. All that shit came out. So they had similar. Him and Canelo have very similar injuries and surgeries that they needed to get done.
Before we continue on that, a shout out to Apology Man, who just donated with the super chat. He says, "My favorite pastime, listening to BDA while at the gym." Hey, thank you, Apology. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Keep your eyes on those weights, though. You don't want to hurt yourself, and do not sniff that seats after women sit on them. I know you like to do that too as well at the gym, but you don't want to go ahead and do that. Anyways, Apology Man, thank you. Apology Man, thank you for the contribution, and I'm glad you enjoy the show and you're enjoying it while you're working out. Let's get back to that, because I'm really interested in that. What you guys are saying about the Jimmy?
Well,
you guys
I'm sorry, BDA, but I can tell you from my experience, and even Mickey ended up with water on his knees. It's a very common injury with boxers in the 90s, before we got educated on it, was a lot of road work. And a lot of guys, believe it or not, fucking run in their boxing shoes. I used to run in my Axis Tigers on cement. That's like fucking insane. It's pretty much just barefoot with a rubber sole. So a lot of fighters, years and years of pounding road work. Hagler was one of the guys smart enough to start running the beaches and doing shit like that, because he knew just the wear and tear on your knees. So I don't know how, if Canelo was running a lot of cement work, but
yeah, that makes sense. He was doing a lot of cement
running
work.
is just about the worst thing you don't get. Why?
And it's probably the most, what we do. I can't hear anybody. Am I talking over everybody right now?
No, I think Precise, you cut off. I think. I don't think you were done.
Oh
no, I just said that running is like probably the worst kind of exercise you. is bad.
Yeah, and again, it's the thing that boxers do the most. Your road work is that's what you spend most of your time doing. Ton of road work, getting ready for fights, and especially it's an inner city thing, right? Most kids are fighters, fighting out of the inner city, the gyms, so they're running on the streets.
Well, didn't
Unless
Solani
they're smart enough to get to like the court, like a university field or something with a track.
Didn't
I'm sorry,
Solani
BDA
Tete?
fight win.
Yes, didn't Solani Tete screw his back on the week of the Donaire fight because he was still running? I think
Yeah,
that's
no,
what I
it's
heard.
rough, man. It's cement
He said
doesn't
he was
give. Your
sparring.
bone just goes right through you. It's a
Okay,
really bad
smart.
thing. Yeah, no, Mickey ended up with water on his knees from running on the cement. That's why he started doing treadmills in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hold on. Before we continue on that, I think Pavel wanted to say something, and then recognize. I believe one of you guys want to say something. I think.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy mentioned the water retention in the knee. Actually, you're on the right track, but the actual cyst is basically the excess buildup of a keratin combined with pus. So when you pop out the cyst, you see all that gooey shit coming out. Is basically it. And Canelo was treated in. He was undergoing a surgery for. I don't know if it were both of his knees or just one, but it was very close to the Mexican Beefgate scandal. So hey, that's just a coincidence. Hey, maybe that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know.
That's interesting, man. That's I see. That's you learn something every day. So just to break it down, you're saying there's a link between this type of injuries and steroid use, or am I misconstruing what you're saying?
Yeah, anabolics, be
It's
precise.
interesting.
Yeah, it's funny.
And the
Because
reason,
A-Rod.
another reason why that. Oh, sorry, brother.
No, I'm just gonna add this real quick. What he just said. The same thing for A-Rod got busted for anabolic steroids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No,
So. Go ahead.
And I was gonna say, when you're on juice too, remember your muscles get stronger. You get a lot stronger. Depends on what you take. If you're taking like a home wrecker, like Anadrol 50 and a Cypionate, you're gonna fucking just rage with testosterone. So what happens? You just suddenly start pounding weight that you never threw around before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your muscles are getting stronger, but your bone and connective tissue doesn't. So it's all of a sudden it's like, what the fuck you doing to me? You go from doing 70-pound shoulder presses to 125-pound dumbbell shoulder presses in one cycle. You know what I mean? So think about that extra. And I'm not saying that's what fighters do, but that's what guys in bodybuilding do. So same thing though. If you suddenly start hitting the bag harder, even that extra little oosh, if you're on the shit, that's just extra fucking thumping on your connective tissues. So yeah,
Look,
steroids. That's how it does cause problems too.
look, Jimmy. I've been reading last week on two studies about the types of injuries occurring in American football and Olympic weightlifting in the past 10 years in various national teams. It was like a basically combined study of all those teams' countries, right? And shit, I lost my track of thought. No, yeah, actually, the fuck, continue. I'm
You were talking
sorry.
about the kind of injuries that you've been studying, the
Yeah,
kind of injuries that might be associated with steroid using, like the
Between
American
football and
football,
weightlifting.
American
Yeah.
football and weightlifting.
yeah. Look, it's just what Jimmy said. I wanted to add something more, but if you, I mean, if you lift heavy shit all the time, there's going to be a bigger and bigger and bigger discrepancy over the connective tissue strength and your muscular strengths. So it's just going to build up over time, and eventually, it's not a really matter of if, but when. Eventually, it's going to snap.
Well, remember American football? Remember about 15 years ago, maybe even longer, the football player, his leg just shattered. He went to turn the defensive lineman, and his bone just shot out the side because he was on so much shit. It's like he was just saying, your muscles, your connective tissues just put so much more strain on your bone. It's crazy. Yeah, so it is very similar to the injuries you'll get. And it does because that's why you always know at the end of the cycle, the worst thing is mentally, because then you start preparing yourself fuck, my joints are gonna ache. Because you always knew somebody on the end of a cycle because you see them leaving the gym with their fucking elbows wrapped in ice bags. And I'm like, I don't envy you right now.
Yeah,
That's why Gordon has come off of Clomid and shit.
And just one thing, the one that I forgot to mention, if you look at the statistics, the majority of, if you read about tears or partial tears or stuff like that, if you really delve into the data, it's almost all connective tissue. Like 98% of the tear injuries, type of injuries, they're only in connective tissue, really, because it's super hard to tear a muscle belly. So
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I stopped lifting heavy, man. Once I hit 40, I've started to realize that shit is just killing me. Like literally, it was hard for me to throw a punch.
Whoa!
It would hurt me like throwing a fucking punch.
But that's what everybody says. That when they hit 40, they say I can't lift heavy anymore. I mean, it seems like you can still lift, right? Just you don't go 100%.
Yeah, I could lift. But what
Just
I do
lift
is
smarter. That's all.
I do it less now. Like for instance, let's say I would bench. Let's say if I would do 10 reps of benching. Now I do 5, and I always do cardio in between every single weights that I lift. So if I'm working on my arms, I'll do some sit-ups right afterwards. If I go to the if I'm doing what you call it damn, what's the word I'm looking for? When you're doing, when you're picking up weights over your head, what the fuck is that called again? Over your head, to your chest.
Over the shoulder press.
Shoulder presses. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm losing. So if I do shoulder
You've
press,
never been inside a gym. Stop lying. We can tell, man. You don't even know the terminology.
I lost the basic fucking shoulder press. But anyway,
all right.
You got to add it in between. Before
That's good
I would just like lift weights, heavy weightlifting, but that drains you and it fucks you up, man. It fucks up your muscles.
I don't know, because I just turned 40 not that long ago, and granted, my dog and sex, but still.
Hey, BDA, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Jesus Christ! I swear to God, it's like I can't hear nothing, and I only hear myself back on. I apologize. Should I hang up? Am I fucking the show up?
No, you're not fucking the show up. No, not at all.
You know what you could do? You can call back. You know what usually works for me, Jimmy? Hang up and call right back.
By the way, while we're sorting this whole thing out, we got McGregor on the line, aka Unrivaled Boxing Talk. Unrivaled, are you there?
I'm gonna hang up and call back.
Okay, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
All right, good to have you on board. Now, I saw you. I think there's some disagreement about. I don't know if you were disagreeing about the whole steroid thing. I don't know. There was a whole lot of beef going on in the chat. No pun intended. Is that what was going on? Were you disagreeing?
No. I'm disagreeing with people about one of the fights tonight. I felt there was a robbery.
Oh, they're talking about the Fury Povetkin fight.
Yeah. I thought Huey was robbed.
I didn't even see the fight, so I can't comment on it. But you guys go ahead and talk about it if you want.
I didn't see it, so I can't comment.
I don't want to talk about.
I saw it.
That shit fest.
Well, I didn't see it, so I can't comment. But Backmaster in the chat says, "Let's hear him defend this insanity."
Fury started well. But then Povetkin, man, he's got the sneakiest right hand I've ever. He wasn't landing a lot, but he was really hurting Fury to the body. Fury showed a good.
Am I the only one who's watched the back? Am I the only one who's watched the back in slow mo? That's all I'm asking.
You guys debate this. I'll be right back.
I'll check it out again.
His arms 65 times. He didn't land clean body shots bar 9 times the fight. What do you see? It's gonna fuck your world up.
Okay, you guys talk about this. I'll be right back. All right, gotta go for a few seconds. Talk about that or whatever you want.
I don't mind Huey getting robbed.
Hey, Precise, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys can hear me now?
Fine.
That was
just fine.
No shit. Hey, now I was gonna say to you, brother, right? Listen, if if you're trying to like do CrossFit training or something, to do stuff like sit-ups, say if you're doing your shoulders, right? You're really working them hard. If you stop to go and say do abs, I'll tell you why that can be very detrimental to your shoulder workout. Because what you're doing is it's almost like speedballing. You're doing coke with heroin. Because you're taking the blood. Because when you're doing one particular spot, you want to feel that pump. You want to pump as much niacin, blood, and all the goodies in there to get that pump. But what happens when you stop and you go and start doing abs, you're bringing that blood now to your belly, and it's counterproductive. I'm just saying, if you want good definition, I would do your cardio after your workout.
I do it. When I do shoulder press, then I do push-ups.
Just don't do keeping pull-ups, guys.
And pull-ups. I do pull-ups.
Yeah, pull-ups is the best. Well, all that old school shit, pull-ups, deadlifts, if you want,
And
just
I cut that
overall.
down to 10 each set. I used to do 20. Like, it's too much.
Bro, if your joints and muscles are hurting, obviously it's the weight. You'll die. You probably.
Well, I am a big dude. Yeah, I do pack on a lot of weight.
Yeah, but like, you shouldn't be breaking down. You should be.
No, definitely not breaking down. Just that strong. Like, not as strong as I was in my 30s.
Well, yeah, you won't be as strong, but like, I don't know.
You can control a lot of that. Yeah, you can control a lot of that, bro, through your diet, up your protein. You know what I mean? Different things. You can even take enhancers.
It's the kind of protein. People they're not.
Whoa, what the hell was that? I don't even want to know. But no, you're right.
Me.
Dieting is like, it's weird for me. I don't know if any of you guys experience this. When the weather heats up, I naturally lose weight easily. Like, okay, what was that?
It's probably water. It's probably just water.
Yeah.
Shit, that's me. I get this fucking cruisers flying all over the place around here. I don't know what's going on. Sorry, I'm gonna pull over.
When in the wintertime, precise, I can go up, if I'm not careful, I can go up to like 235. In the summertime, I could barely get up to 225. I'm always like under that, 220. Sometimes when I wake up, I'm like 217.
Are you using wrist wraps? Like when you do your pull-ups and stuff, are you using like wrist wraps around your reps and then wrap it around whatever, that will help.
I use gloves. I just use gloves.
You should use the wrist wraps because it's just pulling the strain on your wrist. It's cheating a little bit, but it just really does save your joints. But yeah, keep up this. Always do your fucking chin-ups, too. Believe it or not, you don't have to add weight to it or nothing. Those are the best for adding width and strength to your back.
I think weights I used to do that too. That's just a waste of time, bro.
What's that?
The weights on you and then do the pull-ups?
Well, I used to, when I did wide ones, like to my chest, like I'd do it to the collarbone because I was only 190 pounds and I would literally do 30. It was like bop, 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 bop. It was nothing for me. So I'd put like 345s between my, it was funny. I had guys 230. Yeah, you could do those because you're only 190. I'm like, how much you weigh, dude? Kid's like 230. I'd put like, I go, okay, now I'm 275. Bop, 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 bop. And I do 20. Like, go fuck yourself. I hated that shit when people would try that shit on me, man.
Nah, I work on the key thing. This is something that when you get older, you just get into your core and your legs. That's my thing now. I could fucking kick down a house, I think, sometimes. Like that.
Smart, your core, that's going to keep your health too. You want to keep your core healthy. That's a smart move, brother.
That's my number one thing. Like my core strength, your leg strength, it's kind of all connected anyway, but you get that together, bro, you're like, your power is just unbelievable. Punching power, that is.
I always punched much harder when I wasn't lifting, without a doubt. When I was carrying all that muscle to my shoulders, people say, "Dude, wow, you fought to Golden Gloves. Wow, you must be able to really crack it." I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding me? If I wouldn't have wanted to fight if I ran into me when I was 155 pounds, when I was like 200. I'm like, that dude would kick the dog snot out of me right now. I'd be sucking air and, you know what I mean? He'd be dancing around fucking piecing me up. Yeah, no, I was much more limber and hit harder and shit at around 160. But yeah, that does, like Anthony, that's why that jab put that boy to sleep, man. He was just, his muscles was saying, yeah, we're going to sleep whether your brain wants to or not. He just can't carry that kind of oxygen.
And Yard's corner was just inexperienced. Not even Yard himself, just whole corner. Like it was a parody compared to what Buddy McGirt kind of advices he gave to Kovalev.
Imagine if Kovalev had McGirt in his corner during those fucking. That put it this way, that first Ward fight wouldn't have been. That wouldn't have been up for this, at all. That would have been a definite Kovalev win. You know what I mean? The judges wouldn't have been able to fuck him. I think it would have been that decisive, or he probably would have stopped him. I think Buddy McGirt's done that good with him.
I'll be honest. I had Kovalev winning that fight heavily. Like I
So
had it
did I.
9-3 with it 9-3 with a knockout. Unless he 12-0'd him with 15 knockdowns, he wasn't winning that. They robbed him with 9-3 and a Kovalev against Ward. They robbed
Unless
him
you need your
9-3 and a knockdown.
medication adjusted, you got Kovalev winning that fight by a country mile. I don't even think it was close. It was shocking. Nobody was more shocked than Ward himself. That famous picture, he was like, trying to come up with excuses in his head. Then all said he won. He was like, what? Are you kidding me? But to take that stance after, like, I always knew I had it in the bag, go fuck yourself, dude.
I know this is not an argument for what actually happened in the ring, but if you go on BoxRec and you look at, and they have like, I want to say 100 different journalists scoring this fight, 75% of them, this is Americans scoring for Sergey Kovalev. Like, come on, man. There's no way Andre Ward came anywhere close to winning that fight. It's ridiculous.
But precise, you know that doesn't count. 75% of American journalists are racist, according to the black community.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But you know what? You know what I always do? I always go to the fighters. I go to the fighters pages, kids who have Twitter or if they have Facebook. You know what I mean? Guys who opinion I try. You know what I mean? I just if they're not having an affiliation, especially. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't see a single fucking fighter, retired, current, or anywhere say Ward won that first fight. Nobody. Including fucking Floyd Mayweather. Remember Floyd Mayweather even said it.
To this day, he's getting praised for that performance. But what Kovalev just did the other day, like, oh, that was Yard's fight. You know what I mean? We're gonna praise Yard after that fight. Fuck out of here.
Dude, he won that fucking fight hands down. Floyd Mayweather, for Christ's sakes. You know what I mean? He fucking straight up said, he goes, dude, I'm not going to fucking lie. And then Ward said, you should know better, being what we've shared, the same experiences, the prejudices. He actually said all that shit. And then fucking Floyd said, dude, don't come at me with the racial shit. I'm just telling you straight up, dude. You lost that fight. I ain't going to fucking lie for you, dude. You know what I mean?
But that's
End
the
of story.
thing, Jimmy. You and I both know that what the people who like Andre Ward are going to say, well, Floyd's just going to discredit him because Floyd wants to keep his O higher than Andre Ward's O.
Well, how they excused it away without going after attacking Floyd because they just can't, no matter what he says. Floyd is an antagonist, I'll admit that. He kind of likes to be the different opinion. So if he notices everybody saying something, he'll do it just because he likes to antagonize people. But that wasn't the case there. He was straight up saying that fucking, hey, listen, I'm not going to lie for you. It wasn't even close, dude. You lost that fight. Everybody knows, including yourself. So for Ward to fucking play on for years, he would say in any close fight, he would always make a point to say, if that was ever me and I knew I lost the fight, I'd be a man because I respect this sport enough. And the first fucking chance he gets, that motherfucker, oh man, I just lost so much respect for how he handled himself after that obvious robbery.
Like I said, Andre Ward is better outside the ring than he is inside the ring. But he's bad at calling a fight. I'm kind of wrong about that. At first, I thought
Did you guys hear him tonight? I'm sorry, bro.
terrible,
I gotta get
dude.
this
Can I ask a quick question to you guys who were watching on ESPN?
go ahead,
Did he
man.
really have Campbell winning four of the first 6 rounds?
I think he did.
Yes.
I think he
He
did.
had a tie after 8.
Even. After 8, he had it 57-57. After 8, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, what fucking fight is this clown watching?
But yo, did you guys catch the moment where Campbell landed an elbow on Lomachenko and he said, "Oh, Campbell lands an elbow there. I won't call it dirty, but you got to do what you got to do." It's some shit on
He was firing. Campbell was firing that right elbow off all night. All night he was firing that fucking thing off. It was blatant.
And listen, and he was honest when he did that takedown. He said, "Hey, listen, you gotta survive at any means. by any means necessary. He's being honest with you because that's what he did. That's what he did to Kovalev. And the only problem with that, it's called illegal tactics. It's not legal.
Of course, where that fight was held. I'm sorry, I was going to say where that fight was held in Vegas. That's where Ward, listen, he never fought outside his fucking comfort zone. It was always under his judges, his gloves. You know what I mean? Everything was his way all the time. You know what I mean? So
I
it's
can't
just
stand this commentary, man. Like, okay, he's better than Lennox Lewis. Big fucking deal. I can't stand listening. Did you guys catch how he was low-key blowing himself? Talking about, it takes a lot to be a gold medalist. You're not just anybody.
Can I say one thing about him being better than Lennox real fast, yeah? He sounds better than Lennox does, but Lennox actually has better scorecards.
Yeah, he's more eloquent. Lennox is kind of a, I don't know, country.
Lennox just sounds out of it 24/7, and Ward sounds smarter. But when you look at Ward's like scorecards, it's like someone who's able to speak English, but when they write it down, they're writing in Swahili.
I'm gonna disagree with you guys. Lennox Lewis called one of the greatest boxing matches. I'm talking about he had one of the greatest calls, and that's when Hasim Rahman got knocked out. What was the fighter from Kazakhstan that he lost to twice? First time he knocked him out of the ring. What was his name again?
Shumenov?
No.
What is this, a fucking trivia show?
Anyway, when he got knocked out, Lennox Lewis still hated Hasim Rahman so much that he started screaming, "It's over! It is over! It's over!" Like the guy who knocked him out was his son. He was so happy, but what that was Lennox Lewis still had hate for Hasim Rahman. I just thought it was one of the greatest calls I ever heard. Funniest.
And Thunderdome brought this up in one of his videos, and I agree. Like, it's just so unprofessional to have, whether it be Lennox calling Lewis's fights or Andre Ward calling Kovalev's fights. Like, I won't call it a conflict of interest, but it's just fucking unprofessional. Whenever you have like a trainer or a promoter that sometimes commentates on fights and one of their fighters is fighting, they just recuse themselves, right? Because it's fucking unprofessional. You can't be unbiased.
I'm surprised Kovalev allowed it. I'm sorry, but I'm surprised Kovalev.
He probably has no say, but it's just ludicrous to have Andre Ward commentating his fights. It's like, it's very unprofessional.
But I thought because it was Russia, I would have thought he would have said no. You know what I mean? But at home.
I don't think he cares. He's probably thinking like, I'm providing the man. I'm making sure he's gainfully employed, basically, right? I'm hiring. So
and that motherfucker's still fighting, right? Instead of running.
Because he retired his ass, so he probably feels bad that, he can't make a buck anymore. So he'll be like, yeah, let him commentate my fights. I just don't think it's very unprofessional. And, he always like quips like, oh, when I went to his body, I could tell you that, you don't like it to the body. It's like, fuck out of here.
I mean, when I went to his balls, his stomach, he kind of...
When I was told by his trainer to fucking target his fucking midsection.
But anyway, I'm sorry I brought that fucking scrub up, man. We should move.
Yeah, listen, the reason he retired is because he knows he couldn't... Look, the light heavyweight division was just getting stacked. He wasn't going to win every fight like that. He's going to get fucking eventually pieced up. He's lucky he didn't get knocked out by Kovalev in that first fight. He's lucky.
But I'm with Vasyl on people crediting.
He retired the day Beterbiev was.
The day Beterbiev
became his Mando. He became
his mandatory. He retired.
Yeah.
Because he would have got fucking put through a wall. This dude was talking about going to heavyweight. But I'm not the biggest Beterbiev fan, but the dude would put Ward through a fucking wall.
Yeah, he probably would, bro. He's just too strong. Yeah. They should put Salido to call Lomachenko fights.
Oh, Salido, that's the haters' kryptonite right there. The antidote for the haters. They love to bring that up.
Like they don't care. Listen. Like I said, man. If I was if I would want to be Lomachenko, when that's the example you have to bring up, that guy, and
The guy who came in as a
how
welterweight.
disgraceful he was in the fight. Like that's the knock against me, is that my opponent was fucking cheating his ass off, and I was still lacing him up, and that's the fight that.
He outlanded him. He landed 24 more punches than him. Fucking Salido purposely missed weight, made no attempt to fucking scale it off, and then went in as a welterweight, did every inside gym rat dirty trick he could, from punching him in the thigh to the nuts, to fucking elbows, head button. He was doing everything he could to just get in the kid's head. His second pro fight, and if that thing went one more round, he would have fucking put him away. So please, you know what I mean? Like to say that's what they denounced him on.
Holding Salido against Loma is like saying that Bernard Hopkins cannot be an all-time great or even a Hall of Famer. He lost his first professional fight. Like, what kind of sense does that make? Whatever you thought he was back then, he ain't that, right? Fight is what he does. Everybody else in boxing except Loma has gotten better, right? Fuck that.
Yeah, right.
It's just the standards. It's just the standards people hold them to. It's just insane. Just go right now. Pick any random fucking dude and say, look who the next opponent is. Lara's fighting Canelo's brother. You know what I mean?
Let's not talk about Lara, man. Let's not talk.
But you know what I'm saying, though? Like, you just go down the line. Look who people are fighting. Davis is fighting whatever bum of the fucking month. It's just ridiculous. And fucking Loma, it's one world champion after another world champion at a higher weight class at a fucking insane, size differential. It's just, this kid's done things and continues to do things that amaze. And if people don't appreciate what they're witnessing, then shame on them. They're not boxing fans, and they can go fuck their fist.
Sorry. Where the fuck is BDA, man?
I think BDA fell asleep, man. He said, you know what he said? I'm gonna take a little nap. I'll get up.
He's organizing a raffle. He's organizing a raffle in Manila.
I didn't see him around here.
Gonzalo.
Hey, what's up,
guys?
Ryan
Garcia just went live on Instagram, bro. I think that's what's up.
Is this Gonzalo?
What's up,
yeah,
Gonzalo?
I just called in to say that I kind of apologized yesterday if I got a little bit overbearing. I'm gonna drop off. I'm gonna try to keep that in mind. I just got a little ADD. I think Precise kind of understands me.
But no, it was good banter, man. It was good banter.
You don't owe anybody an apology, brother. Well, not us. No, we don't run the show. Thank you for the shout out earlier, brother.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, see y'all later.
Take care, brother. Be safe.
Where you going? You just got here.
All right, bye, McGregor.
Where you go, Gonzalo? Where you going? You just got here.
I gotta go feed Lobito. Get him out the cage.
Lobito.
I'm telling you guys, Ryan Garcia just went live on Instagram, so BDA and Gonzalo gotta go.
I know what he's doing.
What the fuck's up with that kid? I don't follow that kid's career at all. Has he stepped it up at all his competition? Is he still fighting fucking?
Man. You barking up the wrong tree, bro. I'm right there with you. I don't follow the guy's career.
I don't know anything about who that kid's fighting or anything. I just hear people dog him.
I mean, Precise doesn't follow his career, but he knows when he's going live on Instagram. That's a little bit suspect.
I hit that notification though many years ago, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, I can't say anything. I called fucking Hunk Landy, man, and I got killed in the fucking chat.
I was not impressed.
No, I mean the kids over here, we're hugging and kissing over here, and 2 minutes later he's acting like a fucking jerk.
What's right is right. You got a little out of here in yourself.
What's going on here? The conversation's petering out a little bit?
No.
I'm thinking that we know what you were doing. You were watching Brian Garcia's live Instagram.
That's right. Well,
and I think you guys are talking when I'm sorry that I am talking to everybody again. I think you guys are talking. I just can't hear you. That's why I'm sitting like a mute idiot.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, one thing I did want to mention now. I don't know if you guys talked about this while I was gone, but according to Boxing Scene, which is what I'm looking at right here, Prograis versus Taylor finally confirmed. October 26th.
Official.
At the O2 Arena.
And,
it's going to be a great fight.
On the undercard, Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora.
Nobody cares about that.
And Eves and Gabu for the European title against Lawrence Okoli.
Okay, so there's
Hey,
one good
sold
fight.
Out?
Tickets aren't on sale yet, Jimmy.
No, tonight's fight at the O2, was that sold out with Lomachenko and Campbell?
Oh yeah, they sold that out in 4 days.
How many tickets?
21,000.
I gotta say something, bro. The crowd in London, or the UK. I don't know if it was in London, but I don't know where the O2
London.
Arena is at. But that's the best crowd. I've like they're into boxing shit, man. Like they cheered. Lomachenko had a bunch of fans there. Campbell had a bunch of fans there. It was almost like a fucking football crowd, soccer crowd. The way they were cheering for both fighters.
That's the way they do it, man. That's why you don't see that type of stuff in Vegas when you got a bunch of high rollers in the front seat, a bunch of 70-year-olds with a bunch of 28-year-old Asian hookers. Come on, this is what you want. You want to take those fights to local places. Take them to Madison Square Garden. Take them to the Barclays Center over there in Brooklyn. I mean, that's where you get the fans. And they make some.
Yeah, but they suck too, though, these days.
And a lot of those UK fans are just true fans of boxing. Whether they're going to go with the national blood, probably Campbell. But if they see a good match, they're going to also applaud Lomachenko because at the end of the day, they're boxing fans there.
Did you guys hear that the undercard in Saudi Arabia, it's going to be some guy beating up one of his wives? I heard that's what's the undercard's going to be. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I heard that the actual pre-fight dance routine is going to be 4 prostitutes being stoned outside of a mall.
Oh, there you go. See, they know how to do it. They know how to do it.
Exactly.
But see, this fight, man, Prograis versus Taylor, there were some shenanigans going on. Prograis was saying that, they didn't put the money in escrow that I wanted. Apparently, that was according to Pete, who was here one day on one of the shows. He said that was BS. It was never agreed upon. I think it was Lou DiBella, Prograis' promoter or advisor, or whatever the heck he does nowadays. He came up with that. So I don't know, just to create drama or maybe try to pull out of the fight. I don't know what happened, but apparently there was some shenanigans going on there.
DiBella is a lowlife. So you
come on, man, come on.
He is. I'll tell him to his face.
Right, but you should say allegedly. Allegedly.
I'll say, listen, you and I both know. Don't act crazy. I'll smack the shit out of you right here. You and I both know you're a piece of shit. And he'll just say, okay, you're right.
I don't think that's exactly how it's gonna go down. But hey, you said
that
about.
It will. All right.
Right.
He better have a lot. He better have a lot of bodyguards.
He's a fucking attorney, first off, right? You know what most of them are. And then on top of that, just look at the shit he's done. Remember Daniel Jacobs when he was the cancer survivor? He's like a son to me. He stayed at the house, blah, blah, blah. The minute he signed away, went with fucking Hearn, just all of a sudden, you know what I mean? All that positive stuff. It just, come on. He acts like he's done a few shady things with fighters. I just think he's kind of a fucking, never mind the fact that he was a bid. He purposely sold his promotion license to Heyman. He was just a fucking yes man for Heyman.
Yeah, he's a fucking piece. Sorry, he's a piece of shit.
All right, well, we should say allegedly.
And he's got herpes too.
Okay, the BDA legal team is the BDA legal team is texting me. Okay, you know what? The BDA legal team is texting me saying to I gotta say this allegedly. It's all alleged.
I'm kidding.
It's all alleged.
Okay. Yes, the BDA legal team would like to say it's all alleged that Lou DiBella is a faggot with gonorrhea, HIV, and possible hemorrhoids as of last week.
No, see, we're not gonna take it there. We're not gonna go that way. It was a nice show. Everything was going fine. We kept the lewdness to a minimum. And all of a sudden, it turns into a whole Mickey Mouse type of shindig. I'm not going to have it. All right? I am not going to have it. By the way, we got tape of how Ryan Garcia signed Golden Boy, was signed to Golden Boy Promotions. Some of the things he had to do. All right, see, that's See where you guys? Why you guys always gotta take it there? You guys always gotta take it there. That's disgusting.
That's
All
gross,
right.
man.
So listen, fellas.
Work for that payday.
Hey, by the way, we got phone calls, man. I didn't even know. Okay, hold on a second. Before 929, you're on the air. 929.
New York.
That was hilarious, man. What's up? What's up? It's Virtuoso. I just want to give a shout out to Johnny Boy for hosting a live stream of the fights. You know, it was he really put it all out there, but you know he was hoarse at the end of the fight. You know, the last main event. The Fury fight, I think he was just so fucking out of it because it was just so boring.
Right.
Fury was just basically jabbing and just hugging, and it was just so frustrating for Povetkin to land some combinations. But yeah, it was just so boring after the controversial. You know, I just wondered if you guys saw the one before with what was his name? JC Ramirez, I think it was, against Charles Edwards. The Justin Bieber lookalike. Yeah, he got stopped. You know, but he had one knee down. And there was a lot of controversy there, so shout out to Suleiman for reversing the decision. I thought it was kind of a cheap shot, you know. He was down, you know. He didn't need to throw another one, you know, to the gut right there. But yeah,
hey, this is boxing, baby. Andrew Ward says, protect yourself at all times. That's what he says.
Protect your nuts at all times.
At all costs. Yeah, and win by any means necessary, which means punching him in the fucking while the man is down. I mean, he put up a good fight, you know, this Mexican kid, but you know, that thing, it didn't have to happen that way. He could have just put him down, you know, in the next round. So I wanted to touch upon this the Lomachenko and Luke Campbell. I thought Luke Campbell was, you know, really surprised me a bit. Johnny was right. First off, when he said that reach was going to be a problem, and it was. I mean, he was just pumping that jab, and Lomachenko was busy trying to, you know, bob and weave underneath it. And once he got close to the body, he kind of just stopped, you know, his momentum. But that's because Luke Campbell was just creating a lot of space, and that left hook to the body was really underrated because I saw him unleash that like throughout most of the fight. But just when you felt that Luke Campbell was winning the round, Lomachenko just comes back and just fires off and just gets to the body and just mix it up with the left hand jab and, you know, the right and the straights and it just causes, you know, a lot of mayhem for him that all Luke has to do is just turtle up and just backpedal some more until he loses energy and then pins him to the ropes. And that's where Lomachenko is supposed to do damage, you know, keep the man, you know, outside, you know, like in the ropes, not in the middle of the ring, where he's able to create space. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was just, you know, it was just a mark of a champion, you know, the tenacity. And the people out here that are just coming out of the woodwork, that are just so easy that just, once they see a fighter go through adversity, even if it's no matter how good they are, they go jump on my favorite fighter, you know, is going to whip that guy's ass, you know, bandwagon. Oh, look what Tank's going to do. Oh, look what, you know, oh, he better be ready. Oh, all this other shit. And it's like, I'm not listening to that. I'm like, the heart of a true champion that came out is Lomachenko tonight, and that's why he's got 3 belts. You know, it's gonna end up. Who knows? He might run into the same problem with Comey, because I feel like Comey is gonna win that matchup against Teofimo Lopez, even though I think Lopez is, you know, really impressing me a lot. But there's gonna be problems, you know, in terms of physicality, you know, and Lomachenko just proved that he's pound for pound, because those skill sets are transferable from weight class to weight class, mm-hmm. and that's what kept them, you know, on top.
Absolutely, man. Very good points, man. Very good points. We want to see competitive fights. We want to see Lomachenko in there against somebody that's going to be physical. Virtuoso, I got to take another phone call, but anything else you want to say before we'll let you go?
No, not much else. You know, I just enjoyed myself tonight. You know, it was really good. You know, a good night of boxing. You know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your call. Always appreciate your input.
Good points, bro.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man. Catch you on the next one, man. All right, real quick. 480. Hold on a second. All right, 480. You're on the air. 480.
All right, I just wanted to say,
I've been hearing a lot of talk about Lomachenko could beat Mayweather in his prime.
Well, hold on a second. Not even a hello, not even an introduction, no nothing. Just straight to the point,
Let
man.
me get
What
down
is
to
this?
business.
Yeah.
What's all this talk about Lomachenko could beat Mayweather? You want me to
All
go
right.
over
All right,
On this
480.
channel today?
Let the baby cry, all right?
Oh,
But
come
nobody
on,
said
man.
that on this channel today, right?
No, well, hold on.
Did I miss something?
No, I don't
No,
think
I don't know.
anybody's.
Wait, I think the caller started. Wait.
Well, let's
caller.
let him speak. Yeah, let's let him speak. All right, 480. What's on your mind, man? You wanted to talk about Lomachenko Mayweather?
Yeah. I've heard grumblings about Lomachenko could beat Mayweather in his prime,
Okay.
and
Maybe he
Lomachenko
could.
is the greatest boxer of all time. Come on now.
Well, who said that though?
What do you guys think about?
Where'd you hear that though?
I've heard a couple of UK pundits say that.
Okay, but the UK pundits, they're from the UK. What do you want? They eat a thing called black pudding, which is essentially like mashed up liver or something. You're gonna seriously take what they say into consideration? Come on, man.
Can I comment on that? Like the UK pundits, like for this fight, they've really been trying to sell Lomachenko over the last few days because it's a box office event. Of course, they're going to say that he could beat Mayweather in his prime when they're trying to build him up to sell as much tickets as possible.
Yeah. But
And
you know
guess what?
Why?
Guess
Why
what?
couldn't he? Why couldn't he do that?
We'll never find.
I mean-
We'll never find out.
We'll never
Yeah,
find out precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
why couldn't he? Like,
I
it's,
know. Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
I know he's a promoter, but Bob Arum said that Lomachenko is the greatest boxer he's seen since Ali. I mean, the most technical boxer he's seen since Muhammad Ali.
Okay, but
I want to know what they're doing with Bob Arum.
Okay, can I answer that? Can I answer that real quick?
All right, go ahead.
Can I answer that?
Go
All right,
ahead.
first of all, Bob Arum said that he's in the league of guys like Muhammad Ali, Floyd Mayweather, Pacquiao, all these names that he was involved with. He said that he's at that level. He didn't say he's better than those guys. He just said
Exactly, he
that
said
they were
that
at
level.
the
And then with Lomachenko, what you got to do is tell me what he does wrong. Point to Lomachenko and say, this is what he does wrong. His balance is insane.
Okay.
His footwork is, like, I've never seen anything like it, the way he turns guys. He makes professional world champions quit on their fucking stool. Gold medalists quit on their stool. He's won 3 titles. He's moved up 3 or 4 weight classes in his first 14 fights. Listen, Floyd is the greatest defensive fighter that I've seen in my lifetime. You know, I put him right up there with Sweet Pea. But he had flaws too. Nobody knows what they would do at their prime, and they're 2 different weight. You know what I mean? It's a theoretical, question that I don't. It's just opinion.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a matter of opinion. I mean, if you think Floyd Mayweather, I'm assuming you think Floyd Mayweather is better than Lomachenko, right? You thought he was just a better fighter.
Well, he said he was the greatest. I think he said Floyd's the greatest fighter of all time. I think that's what it is.
Okay, so that's his
but Loma's a better amateur, right? But he probably thinks Loma's a far better amateur, don't you?
Well, that's not even up for discussion.
Wait,
I just want to hear him say it. I just want to hear him say it.
I want to hear the guy say it.
Yeah, I want to hear the
I want
caller.
to see if he could be objective, right? But you already blew it. That's all right.
Sorry.
Well,
is the guy still on?
I mean, but
yeah. Let the caller.
I'm saying-
Okay. Go ahead,
caller. Go ahead, caller.
Amateur and professional boxing are 2 different things.
Yeah, but
No,
he
it's
asked
not.
you.
You can't.
he
You
asked-
can't answer a simple question. Why can't you answer a simple question?
Okay. Well, let me just intervene here, real quick, but because I just want to address the question was Lomachenko and Mayweather, who was the better amateur? He's not saying who was the better professional.
Absolutely, it's Lomachenko.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
he's all right.
but listen, I wanted to ask you, caller 480, what did you think of Lomachenko's performance tonight?
I mean, I thought it was pretty good, but I just want people to hold their horses and call this guy the greatest of all time already. I mean, all the greats have one thing in common, and they beat other greats in their era. It's not until he beats somebody who is a future Hall of Famer, I'm not ready to put him there.
I agree.
I agree. I think we all agree.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I don't think none of us called him the greatest of all time by a long shot. None of us did anyway.
By the way, I don't think. Look, it's not a nod towards Loma or a nod towards Floyd. I don't think Floyd's the greatest fighter I've ever seen. So, you know what I'm saying?
Greatest
I think he's
fighters
one.
of all time, in my opinion, is Sugar Ray Robinson.
I think he's one of the greats. I think Floyd is one of the greats, but I don't think he's the best guy I've ever seen.
Ring Magazine had him at number 21 of all
Yeah,
time.
like Ring Magazine, they have their opinion. They got him in the top 20, top 25 or what. I mean,
But you know what?
everybody has it.
I have him number 57 of all time.
Who's this? Floyd? That's fine. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna.
Floyd. I have him 57.
I probably would disagree with you, but I don't have a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like
But
that's your opinion.
Hold on. I want to get to the caller. I just want to say one thing about that, because I've seen that some people say that a lot about Lomachenko. They're saying, well, I don't. It seems like they have the criticism of Lomachenko is that people are overhyping him, but that's his promoter. I mean, that's what promoters do. I mean, listen, Bob Arum said after Pacquiao beat Margarito, he said, "Oh, Pacquiao is the greatest fighter I've ever had." He didn't say the most technical, whatever. He said the most greatest, or Sin Sali. And you also have to take into consideration Bob Arum is the guy who said today. Yesterday I was lying. Today I'm telling the truth. So this guy's a promoter. All of these promoters, caller, you have to remember, keep this in mind. All of these promoters are gonna beef up their fighters' resume. They're gonna hype them up because they want to sell tickets. They want to get promotion. They want to get attention. So don't take it to heart when some people. Because listen, some people say Deontay Wilder is the greatest. We've had callers here come in here and tell us that they think Deontay Wilder is the greatest heavyweight of all time because he's knocked almost everybody he's beaten out. So I mean, that's you gotta. We don't take it personally either. I mean, we think it's ridiculous, but hey, it's an opinion at the end of the day, even if it's an unfounded opinion. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so let's not get it twisted. But yeah, what did you think about Lomachenko's performance, though? Like, where do you have him ranked overall?
Right now,
I definitely have him in my top 5, but I need to see more. I want to see him fight Gervonta Tank Davis. I just want to see him fight like a heavy puncher, somebody.
Well, I was going to say, have you been keeping up on social media? Because for 3 days, every time in every interview going into today's fight, Loma, anytime they said, "What's your future plans?" without hesitation, I want to go to 130 and fight Tank Davis. I will fight him for free. He is all
question,
but, you know what I mean? So it's up to Davis now. Sorry,
my question is,
Yep.
no. My question is, why is Tank Davis the test? Who the fuck has he beaten? Why is he like the benchmark? Like, explain.
He knocked out Pedraza.
Well, just like Lomachenko, I think Tank Davis passes the eye test. You can see the talent. So you want to see the two of them go at it.
He's an exciting kid. I do like watching him fight.
He's a can crusher. He only fights bums, bro. You think he's ready for Lomachenko?
But he destroyed Pedraza, who Lomachenko struggled against.
Yeah, but
I think he needs better representation.
But don't you think?
Hold on, guys. Let's just let Precise respond to it. I think he wanted to say something to
Yeah, but if you're talking about the eye test, you should know that wasn't the same Pedraza that Lomachenko fought, and Pedraza was drained at that weight, or he wasn't as strong as when he fought Lomachenko. Now, I'll give you Pedraza. He performed better, I guess. I think it's debatable, but that's just one fighter. What if it was just a fluke? Like, Tank is talented, but if he's going to keep fighting cans, and then he gets in the ring with Lomachenko after crushing this last can he just crushed, Loma's not going to get any credit if he beats this guy up, is he? Because everyone's going to turn around just like they did with Rigondeaux, just like they did with Nick Walters, just like they did with
Gary Russell Jr.
They're going to turn around and say he ain't shit. They hyped him the fuck up before the fight, and
He
after
beats
the fight,
one world
he ain't
champion.
shit.
Yep. He beats one world champion after another, and just like you said, listen, fine, great. Everybody wants to have these incredible standards, bro. And I'm not saying you, but like people out there, then hold your fighters to the same standards. And if you do that, you look at what Tank Davis is about to fight, and I don't blame Tank Davis because you can tell he's upset because he's actually tweeting out smiley faces to Eddie Hearn when Eddie Hearn just offered him $10 or $12 million. And he just said, somebody offers me that kind of money, you got me. So you can tell there's trouble in paradise. Like, he wants to get out away from Floyd because I think it's Floyd holding him back, to be honest. And I like Davis. He's an exciting fucking fighter, and he cracks
I think Floyd doesn't know how to evaluate talent. I think that he needs to look. I can understand if he personally thinks that Tank is not, but like, how far back do you think Tank is? Tank could fight a guy like Pachel, and I can see him winning that fight. But the fact that he's not having these fights, I'm sorry, brother. Putting him against Lomachenko in his next fight, I'm predicting pretty confidently that Tank's going to drown He's gonna drag him into deep waters. He's gonna keep dragging him. Taps out.
And on top of this,
because he
Carl,
don't have he doesn't. Sorry, one more point, Jimmy. Because he don't have the adversity test in his resume. He don't have that. He doesn't have a guy who pushed him to his limit.
All right, let Jimmy say something, and then I want to let the caller talk.
Well, I was just gonna say, on top of that, right? Listen, fighters are just like us, man. They have all kinds of shit going on in their personal life. Sometimes even more, because the money brings more headaches. Fucking Davis got girlfriends being banned off Twitter. He's got one girl tweeting she wants her fucking through Instagram, holding his baby up, saying she wants her money back for the bail and shit. So he's got all kinds of fucking hectic shit going on in his personal life. When you're gonna fight Lomachenko, if your brain isn't 100% on, so that all that outside noise, he's gonna have to fucking isolate himself from all this crap. He's on you go to Google, and it comes up Tank Davis, not about who he's fighting, about his baby mamas fighting each other on fucking Instagram. I mean, it's just not in the right space mentally, too, for that kid to be taking on the likes of a Lomachenko. That's all I'm saying, brother.
Well, let's let the caller reply, because he hasn't talked. Caller, what do you think? Well, what do you think about all that, or what do you think about Tank Davis versus Lomachenko? I mean, who would you pick in that fight? Let us know.
Well, I agree with the point that Tank does have a lot of outside noise. But if they were to fight, I think Tank has a real chance, because I don't think Lomachenko's fought somebody with the kind of power that Tank possesses. To me, he's like a mini Mike Tyson. He's got the speed, he's got power, and I don't think Lomachenko's facing anybody like him yet.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, I mean, he did. It's up for debate how hard Tank Davis hits. I mean, I'm pretty sure he does hit hard, because even if you're fighting subpar opposition, the fact that you're knocking him out, it's really not that easy to do unless you do have punching power. That being said, we did see last weekend how a guy who showed some promise in Anthony Yard stepped up way too quick against a guy who had been proven to be elite at the highest level in Sergey Kovalev, and he just ended up getting blasted. This is what happens when he drowned. So Tank Davis is sort of the similar. Caller, wouldn't you say that it's the same thing with Tank Davis, that it's been about 2 years, or it's going to be 2.5 years since he fought Pedraza. Since then, he's fought nobody that's giving him...
They have a similar resume.
Yeah, nobody's giving him resistance since then.
And he couldn't even knock Pedraza out. I don't know what's this punching power all about, when he had to have the referee step in and stop the beating because he couldn't knock him out. And I think, in my opinion, Loma hurt Pedraza a lot more, and that was a stronger Pedraza at a higher weight. So,
and he was chasing.
Power is a myth.
And he
was very focused, Pedraza.
And he was chasing Pedraza.
Well, and remember, in that Pedraza fight, in the early rounds, Pedraza was pretty much toying with Davis, if I remember correctly, in the first few rounds.
No, he was
boxing his ears in. It wasn't until but Pedraza got lazy and sloppy and started fucking just went to exchange. And I agree with the caller. I think, believe it or not, I think Tank Davis does have sneaky, explosive power. The way his frame is and the way he throws, he does have explosive power. But because he's a smaller guy, you think honestly he hits harder than Luke Campbell? No way.
Probably not.
No, way. No way. Luke Campbell walks around Luke Campbell probably walks around at 170 pounds.
Oh.
And lean. You know what I mean? Like Tank Davis is a little cat. He's like 5'4". You know what I mean? He's a small little dude.
Yeah, he's a little man.
There's just not a snowball chance in hell he hits harder than Luke Campbell. So it told me tonight, because that was my thing too, because I think Tank does have explosive power, and I was wondering if he got caught clipped, and he took Campbell's a couple of shots, and I'll tell you, in the fourth round he was rocked. But again, he doesn't hit harder than Luke Campbell.
Well,
he doesn't hit harder than Lomachenko.
Yeah, I suppose
he doesn't even hit harder than Lomachenko.
Sorry, I suppose what I'm trying to ask the caller is how much of a... Like, you have confidence, or some confidence in Tank Davis that he can do some good work against Lomachenko. My question is, how much confidence do you have in Tank Davis against Lomachenko?
I have a lot of confidence because Lomachenko is not Mayweather. Nobody is. He's going to get hit eventually. And we've never seen Lomachenko how he would react if he would get caught in the chin.
We saw it tonight.
Well, we saw it against Linares, and we saw it against what's his name? Well, against Campbell. Was that?
Luke Campbell is not an elite fighter.
It doesn't matter if he's an elite fighter, caller. What he is a harder puncher than Davis. That's listen. That's a fact. There's not a snowball chance in hell. Little Tank Davis cracks harder than Luke Campbell, who's struggling to get down to that weight. He's probably going to go up to 140. I mean, he's a big dude. He hits hard. He's not flashy, but it's just you got to be objective, bro. You got to take your emotions out of it and just be objective.
What makes Tank Davis an elite fighter? One win over Pedraza? That makes him elite?
Yeah, Caller, what about that?
He also beat Liam Walsh.
All right, well.
Liam Walsh.
No, but Caller, you get what I'm saying. You get what we're saying. Also, you're saying, well, Tank Davis, what happens when Lomachenko gets caught? But we've seen Tank Davis get pieced up a little bit against upper opposition. I mean, Pedraza was landing better shots on him than he did on Lomachenko. So, I mean, how do you think Tank Davis, because Lomachenko, as evident, he's shown in his past fights, he always manages to hurt guys.
And that straight left hand he's got is vicious.
Hold on,
Let's be honest, Lomachenko is not known for power. I think Tank Davis right there.
Come on.
This dude is,
hold on, guys. I can't. I'm trying to hear the caller, man. If you laugh,
sorry, go ahead.
I mean, you can laugh, but try to mute your mic, because otherwise I can't hear what the caller is saying. Sorry about that. But yeah, what did you say, caller?
Okay, so Lomachenko is not really known for being a power puncher. I think Tank Davis would rather take his punch than Lomachenko take Tank Davis' punch. Let's be honest here.
Well, that might be a fact, but you know that this isn't just about power. It's boxing is not just about power.
All right. So can I just ask him seriously, and I'll wait for your response. So you're telling me right now that Tank Davis hits harder than Luke Campbell? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, okay. I'm done. Hey, you guys have.
Look.
I'm just gonna mute off and watch TV.
I'm just gonna say something real quick.
It's harder than Luke Campbell.
There's no way to measure power. Okay, there's no way to measure power. But I'm gonna do the eye test. Just call it the eye test. Lomachenko has more power than Tank Davis, and I'm gonna tell you why.
What?
He comes forward. Excuse me. Hold on. He comes forward looking for his opponents who are fighting off the back foot, which is the easiest way to defend yourself, and he hurts them. Okay? Now, I'm not saying this is a fact that I think he has more power, but from what I've seen as a boxing fan and understanding the anatomy of boxing, okay, because you got to take that all into consideration. This is not about numbers, okay? When you take all that into consideration, Lomachenko hits harder than he does. Lomachenko is a better technical fighter than he does. Lomachenko has way better defense than he does. He has better offense. He has better everything. What's going to happen is, and you mark my words, if this fight happens next, and you're gonna say, yo, that dude from BDA told me this, recognize, he's going to drown your boy. He's going to kill him. He's just going to drown him. He's going to take him deep into water. When he sees that his feet can't touch the ground anymore, he's going to start putting his head in the water. And when he gets up, when he gets up, right? Because he'll fight it, of course, initially. He's going to take him a little deeper, and then he's going to keep sinking his head in. Then he's going to take him a little deeper and sinking his head in and taps out. That's what's going to happen.
Can I add one thing? Caller, you seem to correlate very much punching power with sheer physical strength, but that's just one of the components. What you're missing is Loma's accuracy and timing. When he landed that straight left on Campbell tonight, on Campbell's body, Campbell was coming in. And I mean, don't tell me that without accuracy. Look at Kovalev's power. Dude is a surgeon with his punching placement. That's
precision beats power. Exactly. Precision beats power and timing beats speed.
Well, let me ask the caller.
And that straight left is vicious.
But by the way, Pavel, were you done or?
Yeah, I'm done.
Well, because caller, Pavel brought up what? I thought somebody said something. Pavel,
no, the caller did.
Okay, caller. Pavel brought up a very good point about actually, and it's true. You're putting way too much emphasis on the power because you're saying, well, what happens when Tank Davis hits Lomachenko? So your belief is that Lomachenko can't take the punch, but what if he can? How's Tank Davis going to win that fight? Is he going to outwork him? Is he going to outbox him?
Doesn't have to box him. Salita proved that.
Okay, but how did Salido? How
Here we
well?
go. The Salido card again.
Punching his
hold on.
nuts counts.
Hold on, please. Let's get the color. How well did Salido do it? Did he dominate that fight? In your eyes?
No, he turned into a backstreet brawl, which is what Gervonta does. It's from Baltimore. That's what.
But hold on. But you didn't answer my question. Did he do it convincingly enough that you could say, "Oh, he schooled Lomachenko"?
No, he didn't school Lomachenko. You can't school a world-class fighter like that.
But that's what I'm saying.
Fight, did he not?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is that was Lomachenko's second fight. He's gotten better since then. He's a better counterpuncher. He's a sharper counterpuncher. Now he can fight on the inside, as you can see. Every
now
time
he knows the rules, what he can get away with. All that shit
Exactly.
he didn't know at all. He was a fucking virgin, man, thrown in with a shock. That kid's a gym rat. Salido knows all
And
the
he
rules.
was still piecing. He was still
Hold on,
piecing Salido up.
Okay, Precise wants to ask the caller something. Go ahead, Precise, please.
2 questions. Who hits harder and who's got the better defense?
I think Lomachenko has the better defense, but I think people underestimate Tank's defense. He's pretty good too. And as far as who hits harder, I think it's pretty obvious that Gervonta Tank Davis.
The heart.
It's obvious that Tank Davis. Hold on. It's obvious that Tank Davis hits harder. What elite lightweight has Tank Davis knocked out?
Elite lightweight?
Yeah.
Desiree.
His girl.
I think Pedraza is a good fighter.
He said Pedraza.
That wasn't a lightweight.
Wait.
That wasn't a lightweight. And he didn't knock him out. He TKO, and it wasn't a lightweight. Has he ever knocked out an elite lightweight?
No, he has not.
So,
hold
okay,
on.
while it may be true that it may be true that Tank Davis hits harder than Lomachenko. It could be true. However, if Lomachenko is the only one out of them two to knock out the bigger guy, elite guy, how is it obvious that Gervonta Davis hits harder? Obvious, objectively so.
Well,
I got nothing more to say.
Way.
Take it easy.
Hey, brother, listen, I just got to ask you one question. And be honest,
hold on. Jimmy, I want to let the caller respond to what Precise just said.
Look at it this way. Which one of those two do you think has a better chance of moving up in weight and being successful? It's Tank Davis, right?
Hell no. Go ahead.
Can I respond?
He just asked the question. I want to answer it. Hell no. But go ahead.
Plus, he's short. He's only 5'4", dude. He can't go much heavier than 135.
He's 5 feet 4 inches tall.
He's already stocky.
He's a little butterball. He's a butterball.
I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask him a couple of questions. Right? I don't know what your name is, buddy, but how's it going? My name's Mark, and you asked who's got a better chance of moving up in weight and being successful. Loma's a 3-weight world champion. Tonight became a unified lightweight champion. Tank Davis hasn't moved up and has struggled to make weight, and he's staying there. But I wanted to ask you, do you know who German Maraz is? Do you know who that guy is?
Barely, but I recognize that name.
Okay, so he's the guy who took Gervonta Davis the distance, right? Now he's been stopped by Tugstot Niambiar. Do you know who Tugstot Niambiar is?
No, I do not.
He's an amateur who Lomachenko knocked out 3 times in the amateurs. Do you know who what's the name of this guy? Hold on, give me a sec. Do you know who Daniel Franco is?
No, I do not.
He's a bum who also knocked out German Maraz and Tank Davis couldn't. Maraz is a guy with a consummate chin. Maraz is a guy with a chin, right? He's a journeyman who's been around for a while. What it's saying is the first person in there who had a chin, Tank couldn't actually take him the distance. The other fighters who he's all stopped have all been on the canvas. Have you not actually known that? Did you not know that these are all fighters who'd been stopped? Who'd either been stopped or dropped in previous fights. Lomachenko stopped Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters had never been stopped.
Ever.
He stopped him. Ever. And he didn't even just stop him.
Rigondeaux, some people consider him the greatest ever.
He made him quit. He took on Guillermo Rigondeaux and made him quit a guy who had 2 Olympic gold medalists himself. Rated one of the best amateurs of all time. And Lomachenko made him look terrible. And you're saying that Tank Davis obviously hits harder, even though he hasn't fought at the same level of opposition. And I think you and I both know. Let's say I put this metaphor to you. You go out to a club, right? And you're picking up average girls night after night after night. And then you get that one model. None of them live up to it, do they? There's a difference between world class and trash.
Oh, I'm not gonna let you talk about women that way. But let's let
I'm not talking about women that way. I said that one woman's world
I
class.
know.
and
I'm
two of them are
kidding.
trash.
I'm kidding, McGregor. Jesus. All right. Let's let the caller respond. Caller, what do you think about everything that McGregor just said?
I mean, I don't really rate Walters, to be honest with you. Rigondeaux.
You don't rate him now.
You don't rate him now, brother.
Listen,
but,
I'm sorry to jump.
Let him speak. Let him.
Yeah, you
let him
fellas,
speak.
well, you can't let the caller speak. This is very bad manners, by the way. I gotta apologize for them, caller. Yeah, go ahead, caller.
I've never rated Walters.
Okay. So you weren't.
Did you rate Justin Russell? Did you rate? What about Russell? Did you rate him?
So stupid, yo.
I think Gary Russell Jr. was Lomachenko's most impressive thing. I'll give him credit for that one.
Okay.
Well, your feud do because listen, this has been rinse and repeat. It's all every time he's about to fight somebody, it was the same talk with Rigondeaux, same talk with Walters. Oh, he's gonna fucking pop, all that shit he was gonna do to Lomachenko. Lomachenko goes in there and doesn't beat these guys, makes these motherfuckers quit because they're being so humiliated and outboxed and out footworked. And they quit. So listen, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. And I think you sound like a good kid. You know what I mean? Fucking someone like I bet you I could fucking drink with, hang with. But honestly, I think your emotions are involved. I think because it's natural. We're tribalistic. You want to see a black person beat him because you're black. And I don't blame you. And he's white. And it's like, fuck it, man. I want to see a brother beat this dude.
Wait a minute.
But if the brothers were honest about it and said, yeah, of course, man, I want to see a brother beat him. And right now I think Tank is the brother to do it. That would at least be honest. So let's get it out of the way. That's exactly what's going on here because objectively, factually speaking, nothing can be said to back up your argument. That's all I'm saying, bro.
Jimmy, those are good points, but caller, are you black?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I thought you were Asian. I don't know why you sound like Filipino or something. No, seriously, like American Filipino. Okay, then Jimmy.
I thought he was white.
And I don't pass judgment on people for that, man. I don't blame people, man. They want their people to win. And listen, I understand too, and I give black people credit. For generations, they dominated the sport. Dominated. It was owned. I mean, so to me, the best fighter in history still to me is Black Sugar Ray Robinson. But all of a sudden, the Eastern Europeans come along, and a lot of black Americans like, wait a minute. This was our shit. Who the fuck are these people? So there's that natural animosity built up, but sometimes it gets carried away into the absurd. You know what I mean? To where it clouds your judgment, and it takes what you probably have, good boxing knowledge, and it is a detriment to that because then you say things that take away from your knowledge. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah, but it's just weird that I don't see how Bob Arum pushes Lomachenko the way he does, but I don't think he nearly puts his chance.
Because he wants the money, brother. He wants to sell tickets, man.
I wanted to respond earlier. You said like when he put him up there in the same bracket as Ali and Floyd and Pacquiao, and he put him up there with Sweet Pea and everything. Do you know all of those guys' resume, dude? Do you know who they fought against even to complain?
Who?
You.
Those guys.
Do you know all the like? Do you know Ali's resume?
I know the big fights he made. I mean, I'm not.
So you know about him fighting against Foreman, and you know about him fighting against like Frazier. Do you know how he? Do you know who he beat to win a world title, his first world title? Do you know who he beat?
Wasn't it Foreman?
No, it wasn't. So why are you even complaining if you don't even know who they're fighting against? It was Sonny Liston, by the way, which is arguably the biggest win of his career anyway.
Well, the difference is I don't consider Ali the greatest fighter of all time.
No, it's just that you're complaining.
Well, hold on. McGregor. To your point. Oh, he hung up, man. But I was gonna ask him, to your point, because I wanted to ask him then, who do you consider the greatest fighter of all time, and then see if he could name, like you said, if he could name the guys on Sugar Ray Robinson's resume. And but I don't know if he hung up. By the way, the call dropped. That's all I have here on the message. But I don't know if he hung up. But see, I mean, yeah, that's good points. See, we were just asking questions. That's why I wanted to try to keep everybody under control, because I just wanted to ask this guy questions to see, like McGregor was doing. I want to see where he was coming from. I want to see his argument, if he could back it up, and then we get a sense of what he was doing. And everybody did a good job, by the way, of asking questions. But as you can tell, he not the most educated boxing fan in the world. I mean, if you're gonna really get serious about pound for pound, which is just for fun, by the way, pound for pound discussions, but you really do have to have at least some, come from a point of view where you've thought about it and backed it up and come up with counter arguments for your own arguments and stuff like that. To say that Tank Davis is better than Lomachenko, I mean, it was just, it wasn't. I mean, thank you for calling, by the way, caller, but you didn't really.
Yeah, listening. You can call back in. We're not mad at you. We're having a discussion with you.
Exactly.
And we love you. We love you.
Well, I don't know about love.
Can I?
Well, hold on. Let Jimmy speak, and then we'll let Pavel speak. Because I think I interrupted Jimmy because he sort of broke up a little bit. So yeah, sorry about that, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Let's see if I can get this not to break up. No, and again, I wasn't trying to bring up the whole race thing, and I wasn't trying to be a jerk about it. I was being honest, right? And I think right, if we were honest about it, and if a lot of people were honest about it, that's what ends up happening. I think a lot of it's driven by, and it's true, they dominated for years, and right now there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Usyk, Lomachenko, this Russian wave, they're the dominating, and so a lot of people have that tribalistic, visceral response, and you can tell that's where that was driven from. He come on here like, fuck it, I heard Mayweather, you know what I mean? He just wanted to fight about it.
Yeah.
And if you know that's where he's coming from, then it's not coming from a point of facts. It's coming from emotion. And once emotion's driving your point, then it's usually going to end in like they're going to hang up. But I hope the kid doesn't think we're trying to put him, fucking put him on blast or anything.
No, but we wanted to see where he was coming from and see if he could back up his arguments. Pavel, you were going to say something?
To Jimmy. Thank you for your honesty, first of all, and I don't think you should ever apologize for being fed up with a certain narrative, because for me it was clear as day. Although I don't know personally the caller, it was just fucking obvious. The second thing, I want to play devil's advocate. Why blacks dominated in boxing back in the day?
Uh-oh.
Environmental factors. One, it's a sport for poor people. It's not a tennis or anything like that. The second thing is that blacks were dominating in a sport when it wasn't global. It was an American, only in America. Now, you have now pound for pound list, and it's a rainbow color. That's it. Listen, no race has an X factor to be successful in this sport. No race. And if you compare, the physical aptitudes of certain races, then why do Chinese, who stereotypically are supposed to be the most intelligent and the weakest physically, why do they dominate in Olympic weightlifting?
Interesting
steroids.
That's but aren't sprinters, Jamaican sprinters, using steroids?
That's a good point.
Yes,
and by the way,
they have the most top cases.
Before we continue, sorry, the caller called back again. All right, 480, you're back on the line. Did you drop off, or I don't know if we had some connection issues?
Yeah, my phone died. I'm sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. Well, listen, we're gonna end it in a couple of minutes because I was supposed to end this half an hour ago. But we're just asking questions because we want to see where you're coming from and whether you can back up your arguments. Needless to say, I do want to see Lomachenko against Tank Davis. I want to see Lomachenko against either the winner of Comey versus what's his name, Comey versus Lopez, or against Tank Davis.
Yeah.
Those are the fights that I want to see. So I want to see Lomachenko in the best fights possible, and I think you want to see him in the best against the best as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right, fantastic.
But, can I respond to that little theory by that last guy?
About the Olympic weightlifters?
No, about Jimmy, about bringing up race.
About blacks dominating boxing or whatever.
Okay.
Okay, so So he was saying that it's a poor people's sport, which is true. There's a lot of poor people, black and white, but you also got to think about it this way. Black people don't really care about boxing that much. It's like not even a fifth option when it comes to sports. There's football, there's basketball. Hell, there's even, I don't know, less dangerous sports. But what I'm trying to say is black males are less than what? 1% of this country?
Well,
So to
7%.
be that well
7%. Because black people make up 13% of the population. And you're 100% right, caller. Black people, it's just boxing has dropped way down. But it has, in the white community, it has everywhere in the United States. Where football, big money contracts, baseball, kids are like, I'm not going to get fucking knocked out, punched if they have the ability to do something else. So I agree with you there. When back in the day, when it was a socioeconomic thing, there was black guys, they were like back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. They knew, fuck this, man. I can make big money if I fight, and
All right,
so that was the easy way for them to do it. So
sorry
you know
to
what I'm saying?
interrupt.
But
Jack Johnson was the
Sorry
first
to-
hustler.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but we gotta move this quickly because we do have to go, and I want to take one last phone call. But 480, thank you for calling back. Anything else you want to say before we move on? Because we gotta go soon.
no, I'm just thank you for letting me talk, and hope you guys have a good day.
You too, man.
all right, God bless,
You
brother.
too.
Thanks for the call.
Thank you for calling,
Peace,
man.
man. Take care.
All right, let me
All
just
right, I
take.
gotta actually fly too, guys. Listen, hey, thanks for having me on BDA. You guys
Thank you,
all here,
Jimmy.
be safe, all right?
Yeah, you too,
Peace,
man.
Jimmy.
Thank you for
All
being
right,
on,
buddy.
You
man.
as well, bro. Take care.
Thank you for being on, Jimmy. Always appreciate you. Okay, last call because I have to go. So as well. So last call 646. You're on the air. 646. 646, man. Come on. 646. You're on the air. All right, you're no longer on the air. Sorry. All right, listen, guys, we gotta go. Thank you for calling in, everybody. All the callers. Sorry, but we do have to go. I got some important obligations today and tomorrow. I got another APAC meeting, so gotta get that sorted out. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Really appreciate it, and really everybody.
Peace, BDA.
All right, and yeah, first of all, listen. I want to thank everybody that called in, and I want to thank our panelists too. We got the best panel team. I want to say ever.
This is true.
That
This
is
is true.
And the best chat room too. Come on, fellas. Look, a clap for the
That's right.
Yeah, it's all down to alcohol and sexual frustration.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're describing my life. But listen, I want to thank all the panelists too, man. I want to thank Precise. I want to thank McGregor. I want to thank Pavel. I want to thank Recognize. I want to thank Jimmy, who was here as well. Who else did I miss? Stu didn't come on. I don't know what the hell was up with him. But yeah, thank you guys for coming on.
Gonzalo was on for 2 minutes.
Gonzalo was on. Oh yeah, I think he was here. Because when I came back, I saw him pop in and then pop out. Anyway, thank you everybody, and thank you everybody who called too, all the callers, everybody in the chat room. I also want to say, hold on a second, real quick. We had some. McGregor, who's fighting right now? Is somebody gonna fight now or?
Landy Lara is meant to be fighting Canelo's brother in a fight of the year contender.
Okay, so nobody's fighting then, is what you're saying?
I'm gonna get more drunk, probably drown my sorrows.
All right, I don't know what sorrows you're speaking of. We got some great boxing
The
coming.
idea that I have to watch Lara.
Oh yeah, that's plenty bad already. If you want to go to sleep, watch Erslando Lara. He'll drowse you right up. Hold on a second. I'm stalling here a little bit because I'm trying to thank everybody. Okay, I want to thank Gonzalo, M6G, Chris K, and Apology Man for their super chat contributions. Thank you guys a lot. Really appreciate it. We got some big things coming up in the future, especially that trivia show. Oh, we're gonna get that trivia show going soon, pretty soon. I just gotta talk to Bucho about it, set a date, get it, coordinate with everybody so that they're available when we can put the show on. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be a great competition. Let me tell you that much right now. Also want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat room, everybody who's listening. I'm talking about Seamus Carey. I'm talking about Virtuoso, Overhand, Backmaster, Nes Mendoza, Endgame, Dead Game, Gypsy Boxing Style. Shout out to Gypsy. You got to come back on the show. Xavier M, Something, Box 88, Duck, Muscle Memory, who also called in, Whiskey Dragonfly, Overhand, Triple JJJ, Gonzalo was in there as well, Shepherd of Sons, Precise was in there as well, Anathemar, Black Lomachenko, Xavier M, Duck, who else? The Punisher, can't forget the Punisher, Canelo, shout out to Canelo, Sakib Rafiq, and many more people. I'm running out of breath here. Jason Bourne, can't forget Jason Bourne, Sin Amasia, Saint Brit, Pavel was in the chat room as well. Oh yeah, thank Pavel too, also on the Hangouts. I think I thanked him. Earn with Hearn, Virtuoso, who also called in. Many more people. If I forgot anybody, sorry. But thank you for calling in, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you for joining in. Hope you enjoyed the fights. Hope you enjoy whatever we have on Showtime or Fox Sports. I don't expect big things, but you never know. So again, thanks everybody, to all our panelists, everybody that contributed, everybody that called, everybody that listened. Hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take it easy.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry. One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you. All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lomito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.
Up there! Go ahead, dude. Go ahead. Go right the fucking head. Hey, let me just fucking speak. Hey, let me just fucking speak. Up there!